Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the show. This be episode 917. Welcome back. It is Monday. It is March. We are a week away from free agency tampering period. We are just 9 days away from the free agency season in the kickoff to the new NFL season. How they break it down. It all starts next week in the NFL. We just finished up the combine. I got to be honest with you, Mike. These guys were fast.
Ooh.
This is what I think they said. This is one of the fastest groups ever in the history of the combine.
Yeah, these guys were they were moving, not as quite as fast as me when I see a lot lizard, but they were moving, man. They were trucking along. Even like the big guys, my God, it was insane.
It really was. Like they literally, it was. I think they said the fastest group ever in the history of the combine. If you're in the fast players, you're looking for somebody fast, young, up and coming. This is definitely the crop to get your guy from. A few things before we do get started. I do want to say, what do I want to say? I want to say this is March, Mike, and that means that we're one month closer to football season. That's always a plus.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say congratulations to the Aliquippa boys basketball team. They avenged South Allegheny from last year down at the Peyton Championship game to win the Whippio Gold. Aliquippa is on with a few other teams to head on to the state playoffs next. But congrats to the boys down at Aliquippa as they get it done, Mike, against South Allegheny, a team that beat them last year in this same exact game.
It's always nice when the Quips win. I love it, and and it's always sweeter too when you get the revenge the year later after like guys left your team to go somewhere else and you win. It's even better.
Absolutely, and that was the case with Aliquippa. They had one guy that went to Lincoln Park, a nearby school that's usually good, and they weren't that good this year. So, unfortunately for them guys, it didn't work out for them. But again, congratulations to Aliquippa on winning the Whippio Gold, the only team from our county right here to win the Whippio Gold. Again, there's a handful of teams moving on to the states, but as of right now, Quip is the only team to bring home the hardware. So good luck to the rest of the teams moving forward in the state playoffs. And that only means a couple of things, Mike, with basketball coming to an end and March Madness, obviously, this month, right around the corner. That means that we're just going to be stuck with you, me, and baseball before you know it. And I got to be honest with you. I think that I'm going to be very entertained this offseason. Of course, there's a lot of things going on with their Steelers, but our other teams here in town, like Penguins and the Pirates, I think they're both going to bring some success in the postseason this year. Let me give you some scores from over the weekend, then we'll dive into the NFL, into the Steelers, and everything that's going on, guys. We have 1 week till free agency technically starts, about 9 days altogether until it officially starts. So we have a lot going on. Combine wrapped up, free agency next week. A few things before we do get started, Mike. I do want to say that the Pirates go 3-0 through the weekend as they beat the Orioles on Friday 6-1. They beat the Astros on Saturday 5-2, and then beat the Cardinals 6-1. Not only beating every team they're playing, but dominating every team they're playing. Yes, I know it's preseason, it's spring training, but at the end of the day, these are good signs for the Pirates because this isn't our first rodeo, and usually this team doesn't play well in spring training. So hopefully these new bats coming in and seeing these results early can be a sign of good things to come.
Yeah, hopefully it is a sign of good things to come. I don't want to get Bucko fever just yet, because every time the past couple of years, man, I got Bucko fever, and I should have known better. They let me down, but this team right now, the way it's built, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm liking the way they're playing, but this team does have a way of getting our spirits up and then crushing them in spectacular fashion by doing stuff that we haven't seen in like 100 years of baseball. So hopefully this year will be better. Cautiously optimistic is how I'm going to temper my expectations with the Buccos this year.
They continue on their spring training schedule, Mike. They do play Tampa Bay today. The Rays, that game will be at 1:05. So that is today. Good luck, Bucks. I think they've only lost 2 so far of all these spring training games. So good luck on them. Also, Mike, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they split over the weekend, but they did get a point from the loss. They went up to Madison Square Garden, lost 3-2 in a shootout on Saturday, but they made up for it on Sunday when they played the Vegas Golden Knights. They shut them out 5-0. Pittsburgh Penguins looking good as well, Mike. They are sitting at 31-15-13. Only a couple of weeks left. This hockey season's over at the end of March. Crosby's still out. He's supposed to be out a month with that injury. Penguins, however, looking good still, even despite not having Crosby in the lineup. And again, playoffs are right around the corner for this team, Mike.
Yeah, right around the corner. Hopefully they can make some moves at the deadline. They got to figure something out for center for until Crosby gets back. But man, they're rocking and rolling. Dubas, man, we're on pace to have the most 20 goal scorers on one team in NHL history. There's an outside chance they can make it. And like 4 or 5 of the guys, I think it was, that he brought in this offseason are all 20 goal scorers. So he's been like the Midas touch this season. Hopefully he can keep it going, because this team has the potential to do some damage.
Which is going to be the MVP of the GMs in Pittsburgh this year, I wonder? Is it going to be Kyle Dubas, who put this all together for the Penguins? Is it going to be Ben Cherington, who finally spent over $100 million on his Pirates baseball team? Or is it going to be Omar Khan, who's going to fix this Steelers organization and this team and get us back on the winning track? We don't know, Mike, but I do believe that somebody's going to get out of the first round. I do want to say this. With that being said, let me find this right here. Okay, just to add a little salt to the wound, Mike. The Pirates and the Steelers both have three playoff wins in the last 14 years. The Pirates, let me say that one more time, just in case you're just tuning in. The Pirates and the Steelers have the same amount of playoff wins in the last 14 years. Say what you want about the Buccos, but Mike, same amount of wins as the Steelers, believe it or not.
That's rough right there. That's what we like to call a rough patch.
And with that being said, Mike, if you're a gambling man, the odds on both of those teams winning it all. Get this: the Pirates 60-1 to win the championship this year in baseball. The Pittsburgh Steelers 100-1. 100-1. The Pirates have better odds of winning the championship than the Steelers do this year, Mike. The thing is, I'm a Pittsburgh sports fan. I'm okay with it because if it's the Pirates are good. But at the end of the day, our Steelers are king, and but that's what the odds are right now. Whether that changes, whether it doesn't, I don't know. We have a lot of things to get ironed out before this team even steps on the field in this fall. So the odds could change, but right now it's not looking good for our Steelers. However, Puckos, Penguins, everybody is on the right track. Hopefully the Steelers get back on the right track with a new coach, like the other teams, with the GMs, newer to the, except with the exception of Charrington, these guys, these GMs putting in the work now, and hopefully we can see the fruits of that.
Yeah, hopefully, the someone wouldn't bring the championship here sooner rather than later. I'll take the Buccos. I'll take the Steelers. I'll take the Penguins. I'm not like a lot of Yinzers that only root for one team and then try to downgrade the rest. All of them. I love them all. So whoever can bring me a championship, I'm going to love.
Absolutely.
Even more.
I do want to say good morning, good afternoon, everybody, no matter where you be from. Welcome to the show. This is the Dum Yinzers. This is episode 917 of the show. Like inching our way to the big 1,000. We're going to be in the 920s by the time this week is over. I'm excited about this. Some other news that I do want to give you guys. Let me try that again. Do go check out the website at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. We have articles up from the new combine and draft team as they are still ironing things out to get ready to make their on-air debut. They have started printing articles up for our website on the draft and in the combine and such. I think right now it's the top 5 picks after the combine, I think is what they wrote about. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, we got RB and the draft team has their top 5 up, and there's also another article on there about David Boston.
So go check all that out. A lot of good stuff. And as Mike, just let the cat out of the bag.
I'm sorry. I was looking at it as I was posting it.
Way to be climatic. But yes, we did. We welcomed RB and a man named Chop to the show. The man named Chop is a lifelong friend of mine. His big brother was my best friend growing up. And Chop is a good guy. He's very knowledgeable of the draft. And so is RB. We like to welcome them, gentlemen, to the show. Again, they will be making their on-air debut soon. They've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And I got to be honest with you, Mike, I'm so excited to see what the guys have for us heading into this draft season. I'm trying to keep up with their page, but there's just so much knowledge and so much being talked about and about all these young men. I'm excited. I'm excited to get them both here and get them moving. But you can go check out their articles right now at www.the2dumyinzers.com, www.the2dumyinzers.com. Go check it out. Let's get into it, everybody. Welcome, everybody. It is March. We changed the clocks ahead next week, Mike, so we're moving in the right direction. Hopefully getting this cold behind us, and the further we get into the Pirate season, the closer we're getting the Steelers season. That's the way I look at it. But let's get into some Steeler news. I do want to give a big birthday shout out to Big Ben Roethlisberger, of course. Turns 44 today. Mike, aren't you 44?
I am 45.
You're 45.
I mean, look at this beard. Doesn't this beard scream 45?
No. But
Damn.
Ben, happy birthday to Ben. He does turn 44 today. Happy birthday, Big Ben. And then one other thing before we do get started. I was thinking about Derpy over the weekend. You know how he's a pain in the ass?
No, never. Not our Derpy.
Well, he I was thinking, people are saying, "What you're just gonna like?" Because last week people were asking about him, and and he's kind of a pain in the ass, and everybody knows that. And I'm trying to think of a way that we could, on air, make it right. And somebody suggested that maybe we should have Derpy shit in a diaper on the air, shitting in a diaper. Derpy should to kind of even out everything that he's done to this point and kind of save face for himself, Mike. Again, I just wanted your thoughts on that. Have Derpy shit in a diaper. It's going to be in his own studio, not anywhere near us. So
I'm all for it. As long as it's not near us. I thought you were going to say he has to shit in the diaper and I have to change the diaper. That was going to be a big no for me, dog. But yeah, I am. Yeah, somber. Yeah, exactly.
I want to see him. I want to see him how he looked that time that he was exposed on video, where he was sitting there in just his underwear. Yeah. Apparently,
no. Is he just going to wear the diaper?
through the course
So
of
I'm
the
down
show.
with
Yeah.
I'm down with just Derpy in the diaper. He'll stand up. We'll have him in nice big long in frame centered. We'll get some good lighting for him, and he just has to sit there until he shits in that diaper.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm down for that. I am down for that.
That's
Derpy.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's all. We just need to see the look on his face as it happens. We'll have a microphone right by his stomach because that thing's going to be rumbling and grumbling, and we're good to go.
And you know how little kids, when they shit, they like kind of stare off into the space because they're just shitting. I want to see that look on his face as he's shitting on the air.
He got to do that little run too. You got to do that run out that they always do with their full diaper. You got to do.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let me jump on the board. Great to see everybody today. It is Monday. It is March. Welcome back.
Derpy.
Here we go, everybody. Welcome to the show. Let's jump on the board right here. Let's go to RB, my man, the newest, one of the newest members of the crew, Mike. RB on the board. First message of the day. He says, good morning, guys. Hope you all are feeling better than me. I'm on 3 hours sleep and kind of sick and looking at an 11-hour work night at 3. That's terrible. There's nothing worse than doing anything when you're sick. So good luck to you on that, RB. Hope you feel better, my man. Let's scoot up to Tortilla. What's up, brother? Always great seeing Tortilla Jackson from Sacramento, California. He says this: if they clone Jim Carrey, can they clone Art Rooney Jr. as well? Somber, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Somber. He says quarterbacks had to go and ruin it. Slow motherfuckers, and this is a fast class, guys. I think they said one of the fastest groups ever to come through the combine, all the way through the linemen. If you did watch the combine this weekend, you've seen a lot of speed, and if you're looking for speed on your team, there's ample speed out there available this year in the draft. What's up, Ty? Always great seeing the great Tyrone. He says JPJ's to go, but I say Tyrone's to go. Welcome to the terrible board, Ty. Always great to see you. Sommer says Lincoln Park. That's right. Chester, Bennington, and all of them. Same name. Spelled a little different, but you know what? It might be spelled the same. No. Lincoln is with K-I-N. Lincoln Park, the band. Yinzer Joe, he says, hey, what's up, Yinzer? Hey, dude. What's up, man? Always great to see Yinzer Joe. I was thinking about you the other day. We didn't see you for a few days, and I was hoping everything was all right. Yinzer Joe says, glad to see I can comment now. Your other format wasn't letting me respond. Glad to be back. And right now, Mike's, he's going, okay, what's Ryan going to say to me next?
Oh, no. Hey, I got links over there to the main show, to the main page, trying to grab a new audience, fellas. Trying to grab more fellow Yinzers to the flock.
All right. Tortilla says, Dum Yinzers the long way at Yinzer Joe. Yinzer Joe says this, when this combine is over, maybe you fellas do a mock draft. I'll be interested to know where you guys stand. As a matter of fact, Joe, you could always go to the website. Mike does put up a new mock draft from here to the draft every Monday. Today, he does have a new mock draft up, so you could check that out until we do get something up running live for that. But you can always go over to 2dumyinzers.com. And also, there's new articles up there from some of the new members of the crew as well. Go check that out over at www.d2dumyinzers.com. Following it up by saying this. Okay, Yinzer Joe. Okay, Yinzer Joe says this: Steelers had bad odds this past season, and they won the division. LOL. Kenneth, what's up, man? Always great seeing the great Kenneth Jones on the terrible board. Kenneth says Steelers floor is 500 no matter what.
Exactly.
Somber says Steelers probably won't take a quarterback till third round, and only if they think he has a bigger upside than Will Howard. Dulac just now said this. Cody, what's up, dude? He says, hey, Mr. Penguin, it's too damn hot for Penguins to be just walking around. You know what? I got to be honest with you, Mike. The Penguins, I love it. I'm not a hockey guy like you are, but when you go to playoff games in June, it's very difficult to wear your hockey jersey when you go to playoff games because it's so hot and them hockey jerseys are so thick. And that's always been a challenge.
Yeah. Was that a Mr. Deeds reference?
I don't know.
I think that was too.
I know what it was, and I know it wasn't a Terminator reference because of course Cody said on Friday he never seen Terminator, but neither have I, so I'm not judging. Tortilla says, "Damn, I just ordered Ty Simpson's number 13 shirt. Out on Simpson is what Somber is saying." Kenneth Jones says, "I want Cooper and Bernard wide receivers." Tyrone says, "Yes, sir. Cooper Jr." Tortilla says, "I won't be upset if we pass on Simpson, but I trust Dulac about as much as I trust Noah. Noah Hiles, maybe. It's probably true, though. I don't hate it." Somber says, "Yeah, that's why I made sure to mention it was him." Let's see. What if your Notre Dame running back is available for Ravens at 14? You know what? I'll hate whoever they get, and I'm sure it's going to be somebody that we're going to hate them getting. But you know what? They're 14. They'll get something nice. Tyrone says, yeah, Simpson, change it. What else do we got here? Cody says, if you want to make Derpy look dumb on the show, tell him to wear his Ohio State jersey.
Oh.
I like it. Love isn't getting that late. Isn't going that late. I'm sorry. Somber says, Somber follows it up by saying this. I'm worried about the Ratbirds getting a top 3 wide receiver, and I'm sure they will. Tortilla says, yeah, even round 2, they could snag wide receiver 1. Into Joe says, I want to know how the heck do we trust in picking Simpson when he's nothing compared to Howard? Absolute winner in college. They just both remind me of Rudolph. Am I wrong, Mike?
I'm not a real big fan of Simpson right now. Just the way that he played in some of those big games, he kind of folded under the pressure. Well, Howard, I'm not a big fan of either, but he can run an offense, but I don't think he's ever going to be anything special in the NFL. So to me, they're one and the same for the most part. So I'm just not sold on any of the quarterbacks in this draft, really.
I'm not either. Cody said Billy Madison. He says, I am Billy.
Okay, it was Billy Madison. I couldn't remember which one. I knew it was one of those movies.
Just Learning. What's up, dude? He says, hey, guys, always great seeing Just Learning on the terrible board. Hope things are well for you, my brother. Hope you had a great weekend, sir. Caught some combine. Caught a lot of speed at this year's combine. Seemed to be the theme, as this was one of the fastest, I think the fastest group of guys ever through the combine. Tortilla says Rudolph plays scared. Simpson at least tough, even though he's small, good at making reads. Speaking of small, let me keep that word in your mind for just a moment, Mike, because I'm going to talk about somebody here real shortly, as soon as I get to these messages. Minus the trust fund, LOL. Somber says, Kenneth says, I'm okay with the Aller 6 or 7. And Joe Quinn, I do want to say, welcome to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. He says, love doesn't make it past 9. You're more than likely right on that. Tortilla says, he could, depends on the situation they get thrown into. Cody says, we should trade our number 1 and Herbig to move up for Ty Simpson. And then finally, Somber says, here goes Cody. My concerns, guys. Is anybody drawing any concerns about anything from Mekhi Lemon over the weekend? Well, a couple of things. For one, you know what? I was watching his highlights pretty extensively this weekend, and the guy is a beast. He's a smaller guy too. I just kind of wonder how that plays into things. He's an absolute animal. The guy's a monster on the field. He looks like somebody else, Mike, just the way he moves on the field, like that wore the USC uniform in the past, that played here on the defensive side of the ball. Just such a playmaker at the end of the day. And I'm watching him. But did anybody catch the combine interview with Mekhi Lemon? If you haven't, when the show's over, just swing over right here on YouTube and just type in Mekhi Lemon interview from the combine and watch. Mike seems to think that he may be another Chase Claypool. He might be another head case. I didn't see the interview. Mike brought it to my attention. When I went to watch it, I thought, what? I wasn't expecting this guy, but I guess at the end of the day, what good wide receivers aren't head cases anymore, Mike?
Exactly. I still want me some Mekhi Lemon. There's conflicting reports that his interviews went well, and other reports saying they went terrible. Yeah. But also you're reading stuff from people at USC like, hey, he was never anything wrong with him in the locker room, interacting with fans, in classes, anything on campus. There's no indications that he's a bad guy. So and maybe he's just a little weird. I'll take that as my wide receiver 2 opposite DK Metcalf.
And I'll be honest with you,
that guy going across the middle.
It wasn't anything outrageous.
No.
However, in this situation, these guys are they're interviewing for the biggest job of their life.
Know, right?
You know what I mean? And he's whiff, and when he said whiff, in place of with, that's what really caught my attention. But again, it wasn't bad. It was today. But at the end of the day, again, a lot of people making a fuss about his interview, Mike, and I thought it was entertaining. Again, only for the sense that you kind of, as I said, you want to put your best foot forward in situations.
Yeah.
When you're attempting to get the best job on the planet, if this is what your thing is, and it was just entertaining to say the least. Not long. Go check it out. A couple second video, but
it was like he was watching Step Brothers.
Yeah,
their interview sequence before he went in and did his. That was his prep for the interviews. I'm kind of disappointed he did not show up in a tuxedo, but my whole thing is like, be weird in your interviews. I don't care, as long as you show up to practice, you do what your coaches tell you to do. You don't embarrass yourself off the field, in the locker room, during the game. Those types of head cases are fine. They're just weird fucking people. It's when you start, showing up consistently late, punching fans, trying to start fights in the middle of the game, quitting on routes. Those are more of a concern to me than just being weird in an interview.
Now you referenced Step Brothers, Mike. Now that was whenever they went in for that interview and they had tuxedos on and they were farting and shit.
Yeah,
is that the?
Yeah, and they went to be interviewed to be janitors, and they're in full tuxedos.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yep,
busting ass. So let's do move. You know what? Let me just say a couple more. You know what? Let's do get on the board, Mike. I'm seeing this moving. I don't want to get too far behind. I'm going to come right back down here to Kenneth, where Kenneth says Simpson is smaller and lighter than Pickett. And Kenny looks so damn small out there. Remember whenever he came here and he played? He just looked like such a small dude. Yinzer Joe says, I can at least say Alar has a bigger arm or bigger body arm, and his decision making is okay. Could be better, but kind of reminds me of Allen and Big Ben. His framework, anyway, Mike. And even you see, this is the thing that concerns me about Drew Aller. Even you don't have great things to say about him, and you're a Penn State guy who generally peddles your guys, Mike. People, Steeler fans throw this name around a little bit in this draft. Mm-hmm. What's the reality of Drew Aller being a Steeler here in a couple months, and how does that shape the quarterback room moving forward? Again, they're expecting now. Before you answer that, they're expecting Aaron Rodgers to have his answer by mid-March. I'm hearing. I read this morning, even earlier, before free agency, they're hoping to get scoop on what Aaron Rodgers wants to do, and that's gonna, it speaks volumes for what our next move can be, what we're gonna do moving forward.
Oh yeah.
With that being said, though, Drew Aller's chance of being a Pittsburgh Steeler in a couple months, and what does that do to shape up the quarterback room?
Right now, maybe 20-25%, depending on if he keeps falling in the draft, but. From all accounts, it sounded like he had a good showing at the combine. Like during the drills, it looked like he got more and more comfortable as it went on, starting to learn the receivers. You can see, like they were saying it on the broadcast, like they can tell, like he changed his throwing mechanics. His footwork is getting better. And with him, he has all the physical tools. But you just never saw him really put it all together at his time at Penn State. And I think it's Penn State, though, too, for, having two running backs that are going to go in probably the first 4 rounds in this draft. The tight end that won in the first round last year, they had no wide receivers. So how much did that affect his development as well? Is, a chicken and the egg thing? Let's see him first. No wide receivers or a quarterback who couldn't get them the ball. So I'm up in the air on Drew Aller. Like, Penn State guy, he was a good kid. I want to see him do well, but I don't want to be the team that takes a chance on him.
All right, let's do.
I just don't know if he has like that clutch gene.
All right, let's move on to Yinzer Joe. Let's see what it's a tortilla. He says this. Make that Highsmith and Cody might be onto something. Tyrone says, no, that bomb is BS. BS getting on my nerves. Let me scoot up the attitude like GP. Okay, the bum. Gotcha. We're talking about Lemon, I do think, just because I see the attitude like GP is what Kenneth is saying. Somber says only casuals are surprised by that interview. That's just him being him. And that's maybe I just don't know him because, again, that was the first interview I'm pretty sure I've seen of him. And, again, it wasn't scary, but it's just kind of a shocker. It's just maybe the way the generation, and again, we were young and we were dumb. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about him because at the end of the day, come on, we were all 19, 20, 21 years old at one time. Let's scoot up to Cody. Cody says, Omar Omar Cooper Jr. is a baller. Kenneth says Lemon's interview concerned me about diva quality. That's all I'm saying. It's the diva qualities. Nothing about the guy scares me with his talent. The dude's a friggin' beast, man. Again, for his size, to see what he was doing out there with USC was truly incredible, Mike. I sat around and watched about 47 minutes of highlights the other day, and I'm glad that I was. I'm glad that I did. It was really a good opportunity to get a chance to see him and what he brings. And the dude's a baller, man. The dude is a baller. Kevin, I'm sorry. Let's go to Somber right here, where he says this: falling because you use Ebonics would be insane. Absolutely,
it would be a travesty if he falls all the way to 21 because of Ebonics. It would be a damn shame, and I hope it happens.
Listen, I like Ebonics. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it was. You just think the guys would be coached to just be a little bit more professional in these particular situations. Once you get your bag, do what you want to do. I don't know. Call me crazy. Let me go to Tortilla. Tortilla says this: I want the diva. We need our mojo back. We need our mojo back. Somber says, was that a fart? I can taste it. Yep, that was a fart. Also, let's go up to Chad. What's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Chad Schrader on a terrible board. Chad says this: what up, Yinzers fans, or Yinzers? We got a new Steelers fan in the family. Brooklyn Elizabeth, my new niece, was born on February 27th, 2026. Congratulations. Awesome. Congratulations. Brooklyn Elizabeth sounds amazing, and I can't wait till she gets that terrible towel hand.
Exactly. Get the towel waving.
Well, I know this, like whenever my kids were little, when they're little, them arms, they just kind of flop around because they're so little and they don't really even realize what they're doing. So just maybe put a little terrible towel in her hand and see what you could get.
Hell yeah.
Lightning Rod, I do want to say welcome back to Lightning Rod. How you doing, brother? Always great seeing you. Terrible on the terrible board. He says, breaking news: Iran is demanding that the Pittsburgh Steelers draft an offensive lineman or defensive lineman in round 1 of the 2026 NFL draft.
Coincidentally, I'm just going to say I was not influenced by the state of Iran, but if you go over to the2dumyinzers.com, you will see a mock draft where I do take a offensive lineman in the first round.
Oh, hell no.
No, I'm not saying I am being threatened by or influenced by. I'm just saying it just happened.
All right, there you go. Go check it out over www.d2dumyinzers.com. Mike does have his every Monday. He puts up a new mock draft. Go check it out. It is up, and again, new articles from our new draft team. A lot of cool stuff over on the website. That is really coming along well. Let's go to. I do want to say welcome back, Lightning Rod. Always great seeing you, bro. Sommer says LR is probably going before the 4th. He is not an option in my opinion. I agree. I just don't know what to make of him. If their season didn't go to shit, and I mean everyone could always say it was the coach and all this, it was just really bad.
He helps lead them back in the overtime game against Oregon. Then he throws an interception our next time out. Almost pulls off the upset against Indiana. Which is the real, and then shits the bed against some lower quality team. So which is the Drew Aller? Or which is the real Drew Aller? Guys all over the place.
Well, the real Drew Aller.
Hopefully, he can go somewhere and get some good coaching, and his true potential can be unlocked. Because if it is, he has the ability to be a pretty good quarterback. I just don't know if he has it though. I hope he does.
Here's my thing: I just haven't seen him do anything great. I mean, he has good attributes, and in a conference where you should be third, pretty much year in year out, which they usually are. It fell apart, and again, I don't know how much of that comes down just to the whole situation they had going up there, unfortunately for him. And then he gets hurt, and then he's out and gets the start. So,
I just have a feeling like the way that combine went. If he has a really good pro day, some GM's going to fall in love with 6'5", 220 pounds, can throw the ball. Some team's going to draft him late first, early second. I just have that feeling.
Tortilla says Aaron Rodgers went to space to see if he wants to continue playing football for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A couple things about Mr. Rodgers. Mike, Aaron Rodgers was the most searched player during the 2025 season. No NFL player was searched more on the internet than Aaron Rodgers was during the 2025 season. Tell me that the Steelers are the worst at anything. People always concerned what's going on with their Steelers. Aaron Rodgers was the most searched player in the NFL last year. Also, what else? I think there was something else here. Here it is. People of all levels, Mike, of the Steelers organization, people of all levels of the Steelers organization have maintained consistent communication with Aaron Rodgers since the end of the season. Mike, are these telling signs? Is Aaron Rodgers going to be back?
I think so. I think he's going to be back, and then the next year it comes down to whether it's going to be Will Howard or a rookie quarterback.
All right.
And I think that's going to that was their new plan after all these quarterbacks went back to college, and the ones that came out really aren't that much better than Will Howard.
Mike, do you think that Aaron Rodgers' decision is going to be announced by this time next week when the tampering period, or at least by Wednesday when free agency officially starts? And how relevant is that moving forward, unless they have something in the plans, unless they already know what's going on within, which is totally possible? Mike, do you think that announcement is made before next Wednesday at 4:00?
I don't think so. I think it'll happen sometime after the tampering period starts. But, it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers – it would surprise me if the Steelers don't have any plans in place. But, Omar Khan already said, all options are on the table when it comes back to the quarterback. So that's leading me to believe they have multiple plans in place for when Aaron decides, when he doesn't decide, what, on the day he says yes or no, or he hasn't said yes or no by this date. Okay, this is what we're going to do moving forward, and his decision be damned. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to affect them at all. They probably have a multitude of scenarios ready to go.
All right. RB says the absolute best arm in this draft is a guy most of you never heard of. I'm writing an article about him right now. He says y'all need to learn about MSU Moorhead's Jackson Strand, 6'5", 245. Man, that sounds awfully Big Ben-ish. And remember, we all weren't loving the idea of Ben Roethlisberger back before he got drafted. This was the draft that had Eli Manning and Phillip Rivers in, of course. And when we got this big 6'5", whatever he was at the time, we were like, oh, what's a Roethlisberger? But maybe RB again. He does know his stuff. Writing articles for our website. Do go check it out. He is saying Jack Strand, like 6'5", 245. I like that size. Again, 20 years of my life, I've rooted for Big Ben. I like a big guy like that back there. Whoever we get is going to be, hopefully it's the best possible person we could get. But that does sound pretty appealing, like that size for sure as a quarterback. It's a linebacker.
Yeah, but that's another thing, man. You got to look past the size because I see the talent there. If the talent's there, like any quarterback, they feel that they can get and groom into being a potential backup or potential starter, go ahead and get.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
RB follows it up by saying absolute piss missile for an arm. Somber says I mentioned Strand like 2 months ago. I don't doubt it. Somber's pretty on top of his shit too. Ain't gonna lie.
I remember that name too.
Yeah. RB says, yeah, I've been watching Strand for 3 years. I can't for the life of me understand how he never got NIL deal, even for a small D1 school. Interesting. I'm gonna have to check him out today. Somber says his arm angles are crazy. He whips that thing. RB says he got prime Aaron Rodgers-esque throwing platform. Man, that's pretty. I'm gonna have to check this guy out. Strand. Vanilla Thunder. Vanilla. That is from Somber. Kenneth says, I hope it happens to Thunder. I don't recall what that particular comment was about, but I hope that it does too, whatever it was.
Hopefully not me shitting in the diaper.
You know what?
Right? That's Derpy's gig, not mine.
If I could get all three of you guys to shit on the diaper, you, Finch, and Derpy on the show, that'd be fantastic.
No, I'm good, fam. I'm good.
In Tater Tart, he could wear his skirt or kilt or whatever it is they wear over there in Europe. Have him shit in a diaper too. Let's go to the 4TL Music Group. Welcome to the Terrible Board. He says Asante Samuel Jr. I think we need him back. And you know what, Mike? He's a great option. I mean, one side you're obviously gonna have JPJ, and then the opposite side, what's the situation gonna be? Is Asante Samuel gonna be a part of that? Is there something going in free agency, Mike, that might help this? And then James Pierre as well. Those three guys back there, Mike. Any of those, of course, JPJ is getting his extension. I don't care what anybody says. Mike, any chance that any of those three guys aren't a Steeler next year?
I think we're either going to keep Asante Samuel Jr. or James Pierre. I don't think they're going to be able to keep both.
Which one do you prefer?
I'm leaning towards Samuel right
Yeah, I
now.
am too.
Yeah, he has the higher pedigree, better track record in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. James Pierre turned himself into a baller last year. This guy just unlocked a new level that we didn't think possible.
Mike, do you think
He's
that
earned himself a
do you think
paycheck.
he sustains that? Do you think he continues that play, or
That's
do you
what I'm
think he
worried
kind of
about.
falls in the back into the crowd? And that's what I'm worried about too.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too. With the changing of the DBs coach, because we had Gerald Hawkins last year for his first year here, and you saw everyone get better as the season went on. Was that him? Was that him plus Jalen Ramsey? Giving guys pointers after practice, during practice, shit like that. You don't know, and like those guys that have that one really good year, I don't want to go throwing money at them because, like you said, that could be the outlier. That could be their one good year. Then after that, they regress to their mean. So I'd rather pay Asante Samuel Jr., keep him, and have JBJ, then figure out something through draft and free agency.
That seems like the most ideal situation. It seems like the most logical situation.
Or if they can get Pierre on a reasonable contract, to do that as well.
Right.
Don't just roll him out saying, "Oh, he's a 1 year wonder." Just don't go blowing the bank for him.
The thing is, I don't see people knocking down the door to pay Pierre at all. So I think it's a doable thing, Mike. I really do. I don't know if you think that we could keep all three of them guys around, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I don't know if a lot of people are going to be knocking down the door for Pierre because maybe they just don't know yet. Let's go on to Han Joquin. I do want to say again, welcome to the show. He says Lemon or Tyson and number one if you had to trade up for a few, so be it. Trade number two for BTJ. Trade back into the second if someone says to get someone gets to say 55, 60 that you really like. Plug and play defensive tackles. Take flyer on Aller. Interesting take.
Not a bad. I wouldn't be opposed to any of that right there.
I know. All looks good. A congrats, of course, to the little one, the new one in the family, to the Yinzer family. It was announced early on the board. Yinzer Joe, he says, I think everyone has the same feeling like Mike does on Aller, but if he's still there in the late rounds, why not grab him whenever we're in quarterback purgatory now? Well, here's the thing. Here's why. Because if you fall to the later round, we're going to sit around and say the same thing that we're saying Ron Howard. Well, this guy isn't going to play. This guy isn't going to be nothing. He's a 6th round pick. I don't know. I say we stay away from Aller with the 10-foot pole. That's just me. We will see. Tyrone. He says this. There he is with the Taco Bell. Tyrone. He says Vega Lone. Tortilla says Iranian Thunder. Mike. I like that.
Cannot confirm nor deny if I was compromised.
And then you could, when you're shitting your diaper, it'd be like dropping bombs on Iran.
You mean when Derpy's shitting in his diaper?
I don't care what happens. Somebody's shitting on a diaper on this show. It's gonna happen. Let's go to Somber. Somber says you do not take a project player on the first 5 picks. Period. 5 picks in the top 100. Got to hit on those for sure. Absolutely. This is how you build your football team. It's on those picks, for the most part. Mark Malone, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Mark Malone on the terrible board. He says Aller or Robinson, need one of those two. And one thing about Mark Malone, listen, I don't doubt that you are a big Steeler fan, but I know a lot of times Mark Malone's list, Mike, it always consists of people that have peculiar names. Who was it the other day? Was somebody in that Corleone? But who was the other guy? There was one other guy that Mark Malone said, and they both had like bizarre names. And I thought,
I can't remember.
That's Mark Malone. But Mark, always great seeing you, brother.
The weird names and the white receivers to round out Team White.
Yeah, right. Let's do Scoot up here too. Tortilla, I saw Sawyer Robinson day 3. I like Sawyer Robinson day 3. Absolutely. Tortilla follows it up by saying, y'all hear a GM told Mendoza he should get arrested so he falls. Like, bruh, that would make him a lock for the Raiders.
Right?
That's what they look for.
The Raiders or the Browns would be trying to get him. Like the Browns would be moving heaven and earth to get him as well if he got arrested.
Somber says wouldn't mind Robertson late, sorry, but if Aaron comes back, I don't even want them to take a quarterback. Honestly, Aaron, Will, Mason, and Thompson at quarterback 3, and the other on the practice squad, or cut Mason in draft 1 late. Chad, Chad Schrader, he says this. I have a friend that wants our Steelers to draft Carson Beck. I absolutely don't want him because he has a sissy arm. That's just my opinion. I don't know much about Beck, but I do know that he's always on a winning football team. Is it just because he goes to successful organizations, Mike, at the right time, or is there any weight carried by Carson Beck?
Not a big fan of Carson Beck. Like, he was very, very up and down this year at Miami. It felt like was he really carried by those Georgia teams? And that's what it's looking like. I just don't see anything for Carson Beck, me personally.
Miami was an interesting story. Yes, they were really good. Yes, they were in the national championship. But at the end of the day, they were just very undisciplined. I'm just wondering. I don't know. I don't know what to make about Beck. Again, was he carried by that Georgia team? Was he? Where did he fit in this whole Miami thing? And they were a lot of questions about Miami. Yes, really, really good. So it just makes you wonder, where does that put Beck? Mike, going to be very interested to see where he lands, because again, the guy's been in a damn championship game every single year he's been in college, and he's been in college for a million years. So,
right.
There's got to be something about the guy. But he's one that has a big question mark for me. I don't know what to make of the guy.
Yeah, me either. I just feel like he's just a college type quarterback.
You don't like him because he has that forehead like a his forehead's pushing down on his eyeballs or some shit. I don't know. He has something odd going on.
It's weird. He has a weird head.
Yeah.
And I can't root for a guy with a weird head.
What's them? I don't know.
Like a Neanderthal type head with the.
You said I can't root for a guy with a weird head.
Like a Klingon.
No, like a sloth. You know how they have that forehead that kind of pushes their eyes down.
Sloths are cute. Do not compare a sloth.
You can't tell me Carson Beck doesn't look like a sloth.
You're not going to ruin sloths for me. Nope. Move on.
Hell no.
Mark Malone says, Mike, if you're going to chew Red Man tobacco, you should grow a Dukeras Scarlet. It's mandatory.
Oh. Mark Malone and his obsession with me and a skullet and chewing something just because I keep playing with my mouth.
That's all right.
Yinzer Joe. Wait till I get my new computer, so I'm not all close to the screen.
Yinzer Joe says this: Roman Wilson was a third-round pick. He's looking like a project. You don't always hit on every pick, but you have to absolutely. You got to take your chances. You got to take shots. You have to take risks. Again, don't be. You got to be smart about it at the end of the day. But you're 100% right, Joe. Again, welcome back, bro. Great seeing you. Tyrone says this: cut and base, and he's trash. The thing about Mason, he's just kind of been a safety net all this time. Nobody. People listen, when there's an opportunity for him to play, if there's an injury, as when Aaron broke his wrist earlier this year and such, he's a solid, serviceable backup. He didn't go in and get that win. They lost to Chicago when he played, but at the end of the day, the guy knows the system. I don't know.
And with him too, you don't have to change the game plan. Your playbook doesn't shrink when he comes in.
Exactly.
You can still run everything with him, and
you lose all of that if you put somebody else in that number 2 position. Ultimately, if Mason would go elsewhere, like when he went to Tennessee, you lose that. I'm not saying that's going to do a lot, Mike, to win you a lot of football games. You kind of just hope that you don't ever have to even concern yourself with that. Yeah. But he does have that. He's very familiar with the system, and as you said, he could run with the ones better than anybody else that would come in would be able to run with the ones, I think.
And he has the trust of everyone in that locker room. Like when he goes in there, you can see like no one's body language goes, oh God, we got this guy coming in. They're all like, okay, let's go out there because we know he's going to be ripping the ball to us. We're going to be taking shots. Nothing's going to change. So for like that stuff alone, I'm okay with him being a backup. That's what he is. He's a number 2. I'll keep a guy like that around for as long as I can.
What is he?
He's a backup. He's a modern day Charlie Batch.
No, what is he?
Number 2.
All right, let's move on the board.
I'm like, I thought you were picking something in your teeth. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Sommer says Strand's highlights are like 30 minutes long. Oh, fun to watch. I am going to watch. I'm excited to watch Strand. RB, Ryan and Mike, I got 30 minutes of film on Strand. He posted of his own YouTube channel. I'm sorry. It's a collection of his entire college career. I'll send it in the chat group. I can't wait. Easier than sending all 22. I will. Thank you, RB. I will check that out. Appreciate it, sir. I tell you what, I got to be honest with you, Mike. I can't go on enough about the hard work that the draft team is really putting in so far. They are working together every day. And I go into listen, I try to give them their own space. But every time I look, Mike, they have hundreds of messages back and forth between one another. I think you're going to like a lot from this draft team, guys. And again, they'll be around moving forward after that. But right now, specializing in the draft, and Mike, them guys know the draft. I'm going to be honest, very, very informed and very knowledgeable.
Yeah, a deep knowledge.
Tyrone says this: I want to sign one. I want to sign one draft, one good DB class. Also, there's the bell. There's the bell for Ty. Let's scoot right here to Chad. Chad Schrader says this: there'll be no shit diaper allowed on this show. Mixed rules. Chad says also, dang, typo Mike roll. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was gonna say I didn't know what that meant, but I was gonna take it, Chad. I was gonna accept it and roll with the punches. I truly was. Danny, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Danny Bowling as well. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the board. He says hello. Danny, we recognize the name. He says hello from Oklahoma. We desperately need Corleone. Mike, in the middle of the defense. Do we need desperately Corleone?
We need to make a deal the NFL can't refuse.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I think he would be great. We need something in the middle of that defensive line. Some kind of anchor, Mike. That has to be fixed.
Everything about this guy screams Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
You have Yinzers guy. We need that Corleone guy in there.
Yeah.
You put that big Italian in there. You know, they're going to love him here.
Absolutely.
He's a big fat bastard in the middle of the D-line. That's what we want and need.
A couple more comments, Mike. I'm going to jump in. There it is. There's Mark. Mark. That's what I was talking about. That last comment. Corleone and Dunker was the two names that he said last week, Mike. And I was making the point about Mark Malone draft by names. And I think it's awesome and hilarious. Corleone and Dunker. And of course, the redheaded mullet. We'll get into him shortly. Let's do, as I said, let me jump into a couple more messages here, Mike, and then we're going to get into some topics, talk about that on the terrible board, see what's going on with everybody. Mark Malone says cool hair also counts. Danny follows it up by saying Carson is a turnover machine. Is that what his deal is? Carson Beck, he's a turnover machine?
I forgot, yeah.
And the thing is, he played at such good colleges that to be a turnover machine, that's certainly not encouraging to hear. Numbers should be better going to teams that are in the national championship every year, but good comment. I will certainly take that as value. Tommy Strings, what's up? All kind of people, Mike, all kind of people from football season popping in. I do want to say welcome, guys. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to the terrible board. We missed all you guys. Danny, Tommy, everybody down the list. Tommy says, can't wait till free agency starts, then the draft. Good offseason excitement this year. Absolutely, man. And you know what? This offseason is going to have the most that molds this team in its entirety, Mike, than maybe we've ever seen in our lives. Yep. I'm sure, what happened back in the early 70s was probably takes the cake with the way they drafted and built that team. But in my life and in your life and in a lot of people's life on the terrible board, Mike, this off season may be the biggest that dictates the way that this team is molded and formed.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even an understatement right there, man. That is 100% fact, because they've been building this team since the JPJ Broderick Jones draft, culminating up to this draft, hoping to get their quarterback of the future. He's not there. So this draft right here, man, it's going to be great. You can use all this draft capital to move up and down to get great players at multiple positions of need. Wide receivers, O-line, D-line, linebackers. You can load up with so much talent to where it might not even matter who the quarterback is. And if they can do that, then find a guy, that's going to be the cherry on top.
Absolutely. I'm sorry to what's the word I'm looking for? To spectrum you out. I one of my total outbursts out of nowhere. Is Corleone's first name Dante?
Yeah.
What's the chances we're going to have a Don Corleone on this team if we do in fact trade him? I seen the name go by and I thought that's really his name is Dante. Don Corleone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just
Dante
double check.
Corleone, man. 6'1", 335. The Godfather.
All right. I like it. How can you not like it?
Like, how can you not? The dude's built to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, I see a couple of them in this year's draft. I truly, honestly do.
I want to double dip on Dante Corleone and Dominic Orange, Big Citrus. Okay, that's what we need. We need a Godfather and a Big Citrus.
Be the all nickname team. We
Exactly.
can't win.
I don't
we
care
can't win
if
in
they can play or
January. Yeah, we can't win in January, but we were the all nickname team.
Yeah, fuck yeah, that's all that matters, baby.
There it is. Ty says Ice Age. Of course, Carson Beck looks like the sloth from Ice Age. I don't think anybody could disagree with that. Let's go to Mark Malone, where he says, if I ever go bald, I already prepared. I will have a natural skullet. You're squandering one of God's greatest gifts. I agree. I tell him all the time. And you know what he says? I can't grow it. I can't grow my mullet. I can't grow a skullet. And I disagree. I just don't think the effort is there. But what can you do?
I can't. That's too much going on back there. I'd be freaking out, man.
You can only lead a retard to water. Let's move on.
What was that?
Let's. Either Joe says Mason has to go. He threw an opening interception and a fumble and had a turnover on downs versus. I believe me. I don't love Mason. I just think that, he's the easiest I just don't know how many different projects we want to get into. Yes, we have a lot to improve on this team, but I just don't know if focusing on our backup quarterback. Of course, we don't even know who the starting quarterback is going to be. But we have some offensive line issues, guys. We're going to get into some of that here shortly. We have a lot of positions to fill all of a sudden. Mike, last year went into the season thinking, okay, things are looking good. They kind of went into all-in mode. They started bringing on all these veterans and putting things together. And now that didn't work out, we got the same exact results. We're kind of back to square one and back to figuring out, okay, well, what are we going to do with the left side of our offensive line entirely? What are we going to do with of course, the other cornerback position? What are we going to do with the defensive line? We have to be able to, we can't let up 250 yards rushing to Buffalo if they come to our stadium next year. So there's a lot of answers. I don't know how thin you want to stretch this. Again, I just think Mason Rudolph for what it is right now, he is just kind of there. He's the net. He's going to step in. He knows the offense, whether it's good or whether it's bad, his results. It just feels, again, I don't know how much you want to stretch this thin, Mike, as you're trying to put new pieces in place to make this team better. I don't know if backup quarterback is what I would be focusing on right now. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm right there with you. I'm okay with him sticking around, and he's a good backup. He is what he is, and not many backup quarterbacks are going to come in and light the league on fire.
Hey, you're right.
So he slots right in there with just about every other backup quarterback in the league. He knows the system. He knows the team. Like, the team loves him. You see it when he comes out there. No one gets dejected. These are all things they have to take into consideration. And he works well with the number one. He works well with the number three. What more can you ask from a backup quarterback?
All right.
Do I wish he was better? Yes, but if he was better, he'd be a starter here or somewhere else.
All right. Mike, we are going to time out, and we're going to talk about some free agency. We're going to get back on the board shortly. Don't slow up, guys. Keep them up there. We will read them all. If not on the show, we will get to them all eventually, as I do read every message every day, guys. Some free agent news, Mike, some free agent scoop. Let's start with this. Here you go. If Kenneth Gainwell would leave, if he would go somewhere else in free agency, which is possible. I mean, the news is he's testing out the market. He wants to test out the market this year. Yeah. He wants to see, what people are willing to pay him, which I think is a smart thing to do considering the season he had. But get this fact: if KG leaves, guys, if Kenneth Gainwell would leave, it would be the first time since Neil O'Donnell in 1996 that a player that won the team MVP left the following year.
Ooh.
30 years ago, that happened with Neil O'Donnell, Mike, after that Super Bowl loss. Kenneth Gainwell, if he leaves, it'll be the first time since O'Donnell in January, February of 1996 that happened.
Wow. That's wow. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's an interesting fact. It's just an interesting scoop, Mike. Also, some people had brought to my attention, well, Javon Hargraves, he played here before. Yes, we need defensive line help, but this seems like a total move that the Steelers would pull over the past couple of years, Mike, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. When he was in his prime, he was in Philadelphia. He went to San Francisco. He kind of, I mean, he is what he is. But, Mike, ever since he left Philadelphia, I didn't see the same player in Javon Hargrave. Of course, he was a former Steeler. That's what's gonna hook Steeler fans in. There's going to be some people that say, yes, he was a Steeler before. Let's bring him back. Mike, Javon Hargraves is not the direction we need to be going on this defensive line. You agree?
Oh, no. And his age and his injury concerns the past couple seasons, that's a big negative on Javon Hargraves. I loved him when he was here. I hated to see him go. But no, it's his time's over. We got to look young in the draft, young in free agency. No, I do not need Javon Hargraves back here. It's another way for this team to get older.
Exactly. You got to bring that average age of the team down. That has been my argument for a couple of years now, Mike. Let's hope that they finally start doing that, because the average age of this team needs to go down, and it shows. It shows week in, week out, Mike.
Yep.
So again, let me just do a little explaining in case anybody isn't up to date on this. Next Monday, it does start the tampering period. Now, this period of time in free agency is the 2 days prior to the start. So noon on Monday starts the tampering period for free agency, where players and teams are able to communicate with one another, possibly about being interested in each other, whatever. Now, Wednesday is the official free agency season. That starts at 4:00, Mike, and that is actually the start of the new NFL calendar year. It always starts on that day, Mike. It always starts on the first day of free agency. So the NFL itself is actually restarting itself, guys, in just 9 days. And as I said, 7 days from right now, it does start the tampering period. And again, we will be able to start talking to people that we might be interested in, and everybody around the league can do the same thing. So this time next week, that starts, Mike. Again, that's at noon on Monday, and then 4:00 on Wednesday. That's the official start of free agency. And you're going to start seeing people move, faces move, which has always been one of my favorite parts of any sport, to be honest with you, whether it be the NFL, whether it be baseball, hockey, basketball. Mike, I like to see faces change in the league. I like to see different faces go to different teams. It's just something that I'm into. Like this year is no different. The free agency, just 9 days from right now.
I cannot wait. I like you said, man, I love the craziness that happens in that period, especially that first day of free agency, that tampering period. You get reports of guys going anywhere and everywhere. It comes in hot and heavy. I can't wait. And hopefully we're active in that first wave too. Get some high-end guys in here.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, listen, guys, this time next week, we're going to be getting ready to add to this team and subtract. And again, Mike, that whole left side of that line is that question. There's no two ways about it. You want to bring a quarterback into that. Listen, I had a crazy thought over the weekend. I thought, F the Bengals, just give me Joe Burrow and let us go do this. But you know what? Could you imagine having a valuable quarterback back there? And the guy has injury issues. I'm just messing. But the quarterback's backside, that left-hand side of the line, I mean, Siamalu, he could be gone just as easy as anything. And also, Mike, that left tackle position has just been such a question mark. Rodgers Jones, what's going to go on? Dylan Cook, is he going to be the guy? Nobody knows. So maybe, Mike, having a valuable quarterback at this time isn't the best idea. Continue to build, and then maybe, as you said, next year in the draft, when you do have some quarterbacks of interest, then you could grab your guy. And as we said to John on Friday on the show, you'll kind of have a team to place your quarterback into, instead of having your quarterback get effed up for 3 years and then have everything else come together. So but the only thing about that, Mike, we've been saying this for years. We had this conversation for years. As they drafted Broderick, okay, we got our left tackle. As they drafted Fatanu, as they drafted Derek Harmon. So, where do we sit right now, Mike? Just in general with this Pittsburgh Steelers team, we starting with the interior line, building on that, trying to get a solid foundation. Here we are 5 years into that plan. Broderick Jones, we don't even know if he's going to be on the team. He dealt with these injuries. He's just not getting it. Where do we sit, Mike? And how in the hell do we fix this thing? We thought, go ahead.
That Roger Jones not developing the way we were all hoping he would, it kind of puts the offense line behind a little bit, but I don't think it's that far back. Because, like you said, we saw a little bit in Dylan Cook. I'm still not 100% sold on him.
Yeah, no.
But I'm willing to give him a try. Take a look at someone in free
With that being
agency.
said, what I seen, I was excited, but the small doses, just like anything else, it doesn't allow me to be excited.
And there's a brand new offensive line coaching staff too. Maybe they can unlock something in Roger Jones that Pat Myers could not. Now, do I think they will? No, but you never know until you see it. I think this team's not far off, really. They're still, filling holes because you can't fill every hole every year. They're focusing on. You can see them focusing on areas and then sprinkling out. And I think this year the draft they're gonna take a look at their what people are calling like the littles, like the wide receivers and the DBs. Your big uglies up front. And I think you're gonna see some of those skilled positions get fleshed out and get a lot of depth that really could elevate this team. But it's all going to come down to will our quarterback, whoever he is, push the ball down the field and attack the middle of the field? Because if they do, there's a lot of potential on this team to where it could take a big jump this year just by a change of offensive philosophy. Because I like the roster. Can it improve? Oh, fuck yeah, it can improve. Any roster in the NFL can improve. And we, was it 5 picks in the top 100? Yes. You get three of those guys hit immediately. You're looking at a major improvement already on this team. And then depending on who they get in free agency, this team's set up to have a good run. Don't forget, Seattle was what, 10-12, or they were 10 wins before they won the Super Bowl. So they were close. The Steelers are close too. So a couple key draft picks, a couple key free agent signings. This team could make a jump. Do I think we're going to win the Super Bowl? No, but I think we can do some damage? Yeah.
Of course, Mike, the big story for the Steelers at the Combine, talking about the offensive line, was the offensive line. The biggest story out of the Combine for the Steelers. People were asking, is it a smoke screen? Mike, is it the offensive line that we address in round one, or is it the wide receiver position in round one is the question that everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
We generally don't go pretty in the first round, and getting a Lemon or a Boston, somebody like this would be a pretty pick. Mike, do they stick with the usual Steeler format and get that offensive lineman to try to shore up the line again? We could be minus a whole left side of the line, for the lack of a better term, because again, you just don't know what you're getting with that left tackle position. Again, Fatanu, who knows what's going to go on with him? He's aging for 1, for 2. He could certainly go somewhere else after free agency starts. Mike, do they go wide receiver or do they go offensive line in round one? And I know that you got your mock draft up and some of the conversations you had, but let us know what you're thinking on that.
For me, it all depends on who's there and if they're not able to trade up to get a receiver. Because I think they really do want to go wide receiver. If they can't get one, I do think offensive line might be the way they go in this draft, depending on if the big bastard from Penn State's not there. So if he's there, none of the receivers are there, I can see guard being the pick. Because I don't know if any of those receivers are going to fall. Once you get a run of wide receivers in the first round, teams start panicking and they start drafting guys.
And also the other scoop, Mike, that I do have here from the Combine, not a lot of interviews with guards at the Combine by the Steelers. How does that play into it, Mike?
I don't know if that's a smoke screen where they're, trying to, deflect attention from one of these guards in the first or second round, or they're going to try Broderick Jones at guard, or they're going to try and start like a Calvin Anderson or a Spencer Anderson at guard. That's might be their thought process, or pick someone up in free agency. So they don't have to go offensive lineman early in the draft, and they can go out and get skill position players. That could be a leaning towards or a signal of what they're going to attempt to do in free agency. Because that surprised me that they didn't talk to any of the guards. When you got a big, massive hole right there. So this could be a, hey, we're comfortable with what's out there in free agency or on our roster that we can plug someone in there.
All right. One more one more note on free agency, Mike. Aaron Rodgers not among the quarterbacks the Vikings are eyeing up, Mike. Of course, the conversation is Aaron Rodgers going to be a Steeler? Is he going to be a Viking? Or is he going to retire? Mike, as far as I know, the Vikings are saying that he is not. He is not on their interest list. If he is, it's further down than these four guys, as the Vikings have. And again, they have a young quarterback, Mike, who sat behind, a good season when Darnold got 14 wins in Minnesota before he went to Seattle. And then last year he got an opportunity. Yes, it was rough for him, but as a guy playing his first year, I don't think that's too far-fetched. But Mike, these four names are on the Vikings top list. And again, Aaron Rodgers isn't one of them. Geno Smith, Kyler Murray, Tua, and Kirk Cousins, the usual suspects when it comes to this time of year in free agency names. Mike, these are the guys that Minnesota apparently are interested in. So does that clear anything up for Steeler fans as far as who our quarterback is going to be this year with, of course, Aaron Rodgers not even being on the list?
I'm hoping all four of those guys sign with Minnesota so we don't sign one of them.
Just so we don't have to hear the speculation of them coming here ever again.
Right. I would have taken 4 years ago Kyler Murray.
Right.
Kyler Murray today. No, I don't want any of those guys. If I'm Minnesota sign them all. We'll keep old man Rodgers.
Right, let's jump back on the board here. Let's see right here. All right, I'm going to go to Corn. Corn, wherever Corn went. Where did Corn go? Corn says Aaron Rodgers' ass. Mark Malone says Corleone and Dunker. Tyrone says Tyson might fall to us. Need to trade up a few spots. I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't either. Jordan Tyson, ASU, that'd be a nice pick.
Also, Dunker for the hair. Of course, Mark Malone. Listen, he has his criteria that he goes by. Mark Malone. I don't doubt that. Also, Cody says Rudolph first pass overthrew 12 feet Darnell Washington by 14 feet on an interception.
Hey, at least he overthrew him, didn't underthrow him like Rodgers. Okay, eventually we'll find a quarterback that can get it right on target.
Sounds like our GC. Cody says how the F you overthrow Darnell. That's what I'm saying. And the thing is, you're a professional quarterback. Albeit you're not a starter, but you're a quarterback in the NFL. You better damn well be able to hit a guy that's 6'7". You just better, right? All right, let's go to. Hey, what's good? What's going on? Vegas, all the way from Vegas. Welcome, my man. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the board. Always great seeing Vegas on the terrible board. Han Joquin says this. There's a reason Strand didn't get NIL offers. If you're seeing his tape, you're probably already familiar with the D2 football, not because of his arm talents. He has talent, but it is D2 talent. Good. You know what? You're good take. Ralph Williams, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Ralph Williams. Ralph says, hello, guys. Interesting offseason. It sure is, Ralph. It's going to keep us busy, brother. Hope all is going well with you, my man. My man, Ralph. Vegas says Omar has to hit the next 2 drafts or he's done. He's got. What do you make of that comment? And not just what he's saying that he's going to be done in 2 years. Where are you?
I've liked his last. I've liked every draft that he's been a part of. Like I said last week, if you flip flop Joey Porter and Roger Jones from round 1 to round 2, that's a home run of a draft. You got a potential All-Pro corner in your first overall pick. That draft looks amazing. And there's still quality players from that draft on this team. The second draft, you got 3/5 of your offensive line in one draft, and then last year's draft's already looking really good. So he's had really good drafts, like really good drafts. My thing is
not his drafts that scare me. It's some of the other little things.
It's like getting some of the bigger free agents, like finding free agents in the middle of the season to plug holes in the secondary. He's been great at doing that, but like the big signings of the Darius Slay and Patrick Peterson were head scratchers. They didn't work, but none of those moves really set the team back. They didn't ruin us financially, and they really didn't lose us any games, those guys. So I've been okay with Omar Khan. I thought his draft's good, and he's had some good free agents, some bad free agent signings, just about like every other GM does.
Call me crazy, but it's the lack of being able to obtain a wide receiver in 2 seasons
Yeah.
is my problem with him.
Yeah.
I thought his drafting was good. I thought even grabbing other free agents, Mike, and bringing them in. Yeah, you're going to hit some, you're going to miss some. I mean, you got to bring in a guy named Darius Slay. You think that you're going to be okay. It should be a safe signing. However, it didn't play out that way. But at the end of the day, the fact that we went through 2 seasons without having a legit number 2 wide receiver or anything that even resembles a legit number 2 wide receiver is any fault that I have towards Omar Khan that I put on him, because that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And even you say what you want, you had 2 years to grab somebody, and you had off seasons, and you had every opportunity, and yet we still went into those seasons with a very, very depleted, anemic wide receiver room. Mike, that's big. And again, how much of that has to do with Arthur Smith and wanting to build a team to suit his offense? But how did that play out? I mean, come on, we built it with 54 tight ends to suit his style, and it didn't do shit. So again, how much of that falls back on Omar? And again, how much does 2 seasons of not going into a season without having a wide receiver 2, does that come back on him? Because again, in the draft, I'm not complaining about his draft decisions, and I'm not complaining about a lot of his free agency decisions, Mike. But just something as simple as putting a person in each of the 11 positions on one side of the ball, how could that be a failure 2 seasons in a row, to the point where, again, you're coming in late with a Mike Williams to fix that hole. Again, you're coming in late with an MVS. These guys are just above what a Scotty Miller is. It's really nothing, Mike. The failure to get that position filled is his failure, in my opinion.
And putting too much hope in CA3 and Roman Wilson too, hoping those guys would elevate into be like those outside route runners that you thought they would be.
Considering one of them hasn't even seen the field but a half dozen times in 2 years.
In the Brandon Ayuk trade collapsing at the last minute because Ayuk went and talked to the coach and told them what was happening, and they went to the GM and they get it fixed. Like that right there.
Shouldn't that be something that again a smart person knows not to do? Put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, that's a kind of a life common sense move. They kind of put all their eggs in Brandon Ayuk and hoped that it was going to work out, and then when it didn't, we were sitting there with our thumb in our asses. So, again, that's just something that a smart person should have been able to figure out and handle. Again, 2 whole seasons, Mike, missing that position. That's pretty big.
That's pretty big. And, this free agency and this draft, you got to get receivers. And like I said, if you're sitting there in the first round and you weren't able to trade up and like the first round talent receivers are gone, don't reach for one, because there's plenty of talent in rounds 2 and 3 to get a receiver. So they have to come out of this draft with at least a receiver by the second round. If not, then it's going to be a shit show.
All right, let's move on the board, Mike. Find out where we are here. I think I could find ballpark. There we go. Vegas, we got him. We got Ralph. I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna go to Mark. He says it is. It's LOL Dante Curleone. Somber says Chambliss was D2. Of course, from Ole Miss. Ty says Omar Cooks and drafts. I'm worried about free agency and contracts. That's valid. Tyrone also says this. He follows it up by saying, we only cut one person so far. Of course, Calvin Anderson. Was released, guys. We were saving $2 million of his 2.4 cap hit, Mike. Calvin Anderson. And again, he had issues. He had problems, I think, an injury, Mike, but just another offensive lineman, a body that isn't going to be there moving forward. So just another body that we're going to have to fill somehow, somewhere in the process over the next 5 months.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of those lower tier guys being cut and swapped back in. So I'm not too worried about losing his depth on the O-line, because I'm sure we're going to find someone real quick to replace him once free agency starts.
Mark Malone, fucking Corleone. We have to draft him, Mark Malone says. Let's scoot up here too. Yinzer Joe, he says, are the rumors for the Jags Brian Thomas true? Can we get him for a third? I mean, we sent Pickens out for a third, right? I don't see him being better than Pickens. You know what? It's certainly an option. And at this point, you want the best things for your team, but we're kind of at the point where after things went the way they did for the past couple of years, it's almost like, all right, just give me Brian Thomas Jr. But of course, at the end of the day, Mike, I do want the best possible option for the other side of the ball. But you know how it is in the regular season. We just get to the point when it's like, all right, we didn't have no wide receiver too. You just kind of want anybody, and
Yeah.
we're really loving MVS during the regular season. We're really loving a aged Adam Thielen in the regular season. Which, come on, these guys are certainly Thielen's past his prime. He's toggling in and out of retirement to come play. So again, Mike, Brian Thomas Jr. at this point, in your head sounds good, but how many guys throughout the course of the season do we say names or we talked about that? Got you excited, but we're still sitting where we're sitting.
Yeah, my thing with like Brian Thomas, like his drop rate has been consistent throughout the last.
Well, at least it's consistent.
Like, he drops a decent
it could be a
balls.
consistent dropping the pass wide receiver room, Mike.
Yeah, I know. So he'd fit right in. But thing is, I mean, his production dropped from rookie year to this year. So I don't know why. I don't know if it was a him thing, a game plan thing, what was going on. But like his numbers, he went from 10 touchdowns to 2. 1,200 yards to 700 yards. Like,
and considering they got better as a team,
yeah,
you think his numbers would have got better instead of going in that direction?
Yeah, because I knew like early on they weren't happy with the way he was playing, and he didn't play every game. So like he has talent. You can see why he was picked in the first round, but like, and he's still young, still on that rookie contract. Like I wouldn't give up a second round for him. I heard some talk about that too. A third, depending on which third I'm giving. The comp pick third, yeah.
I was going to jump back on some notes here, but let me stay on the board, guys. I don't want to get too far behind. Let's go with Somber. Mason is no longer a project. He's a known quantity. Also, hand joke, John Quinn says this: Chambliss on a national championship team loaded with FCS talent. Transfers not even remotely comparable. Tyrone says this: can't tell. LOL. Need to reconstruct Watt, DK, J Ram, cut PQ, Smith, Harrison, Mason. Shaking my head. He's overpays like a mother effer. Mike Broderick Jones on his 5th-year option, looking like for 2027 would be $19 million, give or take. Broderick Jones. Is there any way we could pay this money out to this guy?
No, it's not going to get exercised this year, especially with $44 million in cap space or $42 million in cap space, the 8th best cap situation. We're not going to take any money out of that to give to Broderick Jones. We're going to extend the young guys that need extended and make a splash in free agency. And then, like, in every contract that Omar signs people to, they're very easy to get out of.
Yeah, right.
With like you might be stuck with a guy for a year, but after that, my God, these contracts, the way he does, the way they negotiate them are so easy to get out of. So they never hinder the franchise.
Somber says D2 is D2. You're saying Strand in place of Chambliss couldn't have worked. Somber says that also. Sorry, there we go. Vegas said he did all that you hate, and they still have over 40 million available. He did all that. Okay, Omar. Freimeister Bond. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board, Freimeister Bond. You know what, Freimeister, by the end of the week, we do have a lot of things in work. We have Mike's computer, which maybe not. You might have thought you heard a hamster wheel in the background. There's a lot of things going on this week with our computers and our systems, and I think by the end of this week we are going to have phone calls back up. We're going to have them up, Mike. I've been looking into that, and also with all the new computer shit we have coming in this week, I think that's going to be possible real soon. Freimeister, so do come back. I do encourage that, but I do see you have a lot on the board. Let's talk a little bit about what Freimeister is saying. Let me grab Joseph Hogg. I'm going to grab Joseph Hogg first. Joseph, welcome to the terrible show, or to the terrible board on the show today. He says Skylar Thompson should be your backup, not Rudolph. And Mike, here's the thing about Skylar. He looked so good in the preseason last year, but you know what? Kenny Pickett went undefeated in preseason 1 year and dominated the Buffalo Bills. I'm still a little skeptical. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Mason Rudolph. I'm not saying that he's this great backup quarterback, because he's not. I'm just saying, though, a lot of people on the Skylar Thompson tip, he looked really nice in the preseason last year. But where does he fly? You know, nobody around the league is knocking down the door to get this guy as their backup. Nobody wants him to. Mike, where does Skylar Thompson realistically fall?
He's a third string quarterback. I'm sorry, career completion percentage of 58, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. The guy's a third string quarterback. He is what he is. He's a third string quarterback. Teams aren't beating down the bush to get him to be their backup quarterback.
Let's see. All right, I'm gonna go right here. No, right here. Somber says agree to disagree. Also, Tyrone says you could have more. Meister Bond says Rosie O'Donnell. Of course, like we were talking about, Neil O'Donnell. 30 years ago was the last time a Steeler MVP left the team following that season. Like 30 years ago, if KG would go elsewhere, if Kenneth Gainwell will go elsewhere, it'll be 30. It's been 30 years since a Steelers team MVP left after that season. Cody says this: who said Roman Wilson looks like a dirty sucker you pick up off the ground? Damn, Cody. Han Junk One says this: Ferris State is a system Chambliss fit into. T Strand does not. Somber says we are no longer in a nursing home. Scoot up here. Yes. Again, by the end of the week, I'm hoping to have that all up for Master. So, Meister, I'm sorry. Mark Malone says the Gravedigger is done. Somber says Ole Miss. I'm saying plug Strand in at Ole Miss. Mark Malone, good name, but no Don Corleone. He's not easy to satisfy. Mark Malone isn't. You got to have the right name. Let's go to Freimeister as well. He says Ferris Bueller has a school. Cool. Let's go to Vegas, where Vegas says this. What does Vegas say? Vegas says something, I swear to you. Vegas says this. He can get way more if he needs to, but why do it when you don't need to yet? Vegas follows that up by saying Art Rooney had a saying, don't make a decision until you have to make a decision. Somber says this isn't a call-in show right now, at least. Also, Tyrone says this. You would, agree. Just reconstruct them guys, and I'm cool. Vegas says Derpy can be a call screener, Mike.
Derpy.
That would require Derpy to show up to the show.
Freimeister says we can interact, or we can just play with our players. Seems like Freimeister is going to be fun. Seems like he's going to be a fun viewer. Mark Malone says we're good with Cook. Yeah, I mean, you guys think so? You guys think that we're good with Cook? Are we going to be fine with Dylan Cook if that be the case? Is that the route we're going to go? Like, and if it isn't, where do you tackle this tackle? Do you go out and get yourself a free agent tackle? Again, starting over at the left tackle position after the Broderick Jones project seems like, here we go again. Where does this left tackle get fixed, Mike? And is Dylan Cook anywhere in that equation for you? Again, he came out in small doses last year, looked really good.
Yeah.
You've seen the inexperience. However, in the big picture, I thought he passed. It was a passing grade as far as Dylan Cook went at left tackle. Left tackle is not an easy position to play. Left tackle is not an easy position to play when you're trying to keep Myles Garrett off your quarterback's ass. Dylan Cook did some very good things in that small period of time. Like, how much of him do you see in the equation moving forward? And if you don't like him, what is the what's the answer at the backside tackle?
Yeah, for me, I'm sorry, I'm not sold on Dylan Cook. He's he was a former quarterback in college. He turns into an offensive lineman, and he's like already 26, 27, 28 years old. He's not some young pup that we're grooming to be a long-term viable option there. He's a backup left tackle. It's awesome that he was able to do this, but for me right now, he's our backup tackle. He's not our starter. Just a small sample size. You got to look free agency or the draft for someone who can come in and compete. Like, because Broderick's going to be out until mid-season probably with that neck injury. So you got to find someone that can come in and compete right away.
In Broderick, Mike, it isn't exactly fixing everything when he does come back healthy,
No,
because again, he has all kind of issues anyway. So now you have to kind of get him back up to speed, and that's at the halfway point of the season. Who knows? Who knows if he's ever going to get to the point where we need him to be, Mike? Again, that left tackle certainly a question mark heading in, continuing in this offseason. Free agency, guys. Again, a week from today, we do have the tampering period. In 9 days, it is the official start of free agency. Some of these questions are going to be answered, Mike, in the next month. Can you believe I just said that? Next month is going to be the draft here in Pittsburgh. It is March 2nd, guys. April 23rd, I do believe, guys, the draft starts in Pittsburgh. We are just a little over a month away from the draft, Mike. All these questions, we're going to have somewhat of a finalized roster in a sense. I mean, you still have all the rookie camps, the OTAs, all these different things that are going to go on, and people are going to get cut at the end of the day. But, Mike, a lot of our team is going to be in place by the end of next month. Without everything being fine-tuned just yet and put into the right pieces into the right places, Mike. So again, free agency next week, the draft next month. A lot of these questions will be answered, and then we're going to try to figure out how it's going to happen. Is they going to be able to make it work? Is this team going to be able to come and at least do what they did last year? A new coaching staff, Mike, as well. So much is going on right now for this Pittsburgh Steelers team.
It's a lot going on, a lot in flux. I just can't wait for free agency to get here. The speculation's already killing me. They need to knock it out of the park big time in both free agency and the draft.
Mike, that was my next question.
This team is really close to being competitive.
A home run in the draft and a home run in free agency would work wonders for the Steelers team. And you know what, Mike?
I'll take 2 triples,
We kind of need to at least get some hits in both of them. No two ways about it. There's no you can't whiff in either one of these two events. This is how we build the next stage of our team. So again, it's necessary that both of them be strong. And again, I think the draft being in Pittsburgh, of course, is always going to be a big thing for the Steelers in this particular draft, because you don't want to lose at home. You want to be a big show for your hometown. Yeah. And again, Mike, I'm just like everybody else. I'm hoping that we get it done in the draft and free agency, because we need work. No two ways about that. Let's go to Mark Malone. Line almost done. Only need Mullet for left guard. I do want to say Freimeister. Freimeister says, okay, cool. I want to talk players. It's cool, man. Keep them coming. Again, we do read every message. Again, if we don't get to everyone during the duration of the show, Fry, I do want to say we do read them all. But I do my best. I truly do my best to try to get them all read throughout the course of the show. Vegas says Sport Track says that they can SpotRec says they can reconstruct TJ's contract and open up over $30 million by converting TJ's guaranteed salary into a signing bonus, so that Omar's ace is in the hole. Ooh, it's interesting.
See, like I said, man, Omar Khan's contracts, they're the way they're written, man. He's a
yes, he's kind of a genius at that. Handling contracts. Let's go to Mark Malone. The mullet is the answer at left guard. I think Mark Malone and Fry are like the guys on Step Brothers. I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. Do we just become best friends? I don't know. I'm getting this vibe from Freimeister and Mark Malone.
They're going to be building bunk beds and practicing kung fu out in the garage.
So much room for activities.
Circling back to Dylan Cook real quick. I'm just over on PFF looking at their top left tackle or top tackles. He's slotted in at number 20. So take that for what it's worth.
But you know what? Cam Hayward, they slot him in at number 1 in the league.
I know.
So do what you want with that. John Quinn says this again: 2 national championships and a 6th year of eligibility. Don't see that being the case for Strand. Somber, anything you have to say, just put it in chat. They'll get to it. Tyrone, they will. These guys, we appreciate that, Ty. And you, Ty, you are the best. I don't want to hear any. I don't want to hear any otherwise. I won't take it, Mike. I won't accept anything else. Let's go up to Vegas. Vegas says this at Freimeister. Just let them know who your team is and where you're watching from, and they will read your comments. No doubt. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you for the help on the terrible board. You guys are the best. Ty says this: clean up the holes on the roster for Chance. 3 wide receiver, left guard, 3 wide receivers, 2 defensive backs, safety, nose tackle. Is that all we need?
Yeah. Just tell me there's a chance.
Ty. Oh, sorry, we got Ty on that one. Vegas, as I saw a mock last night that has us taking that tight end that sets multiple records in the combine. Hey, he's tough, but how many more tight ends could we possibly use?
You convert him to a wide receiver.
Well, Mike, we are one of the highest paid tight end rooms in the league. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, in honor of Artie Smith, we got to get that number even higher, brother.
Shadiq won't get to 21 is what John Quinn said. I'm sorry about that. Also, Freimeister says I am from Central PA. I like the Steelers. That's awesome, man. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. And I'm sorry to hand John Quinn if I'm effing up your name. I really do. But you know what? In all fairness, I mess up every single name the first time I ever say it. There's
Russell
not a name
Fields,
I haven't.
Justin Wilson.
Yeah, come on.
Getting Sayamalu and Fatano confused earlier today.
All right, just stop. Nobody wants to hear this. Tyrone says, just type what you want to say. John Quinn says this until they start actually using tight ends. We already have fully drafting another one. I agree. We're if not the highest, we're one of the highest paid tight end rooms in the league. Ty says this. Just throw it up there, bro. Vegas says this. Just type your takes out. That's the way to communicate with them. So right now, you're right. We're working on a lot of new things, guys. I think these guys are gonna have a lot of fun in the coming days to weeks to months in this offseason. A lot of wheels are in motion right now on the show. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. It's been a blast, and you guys are great. Let me move on the board right here with Cody. Mike needs to put WD-40 on his mic.
You know, I'm returning that brand new computer. We're going to deal with this laptop that's, a game day player is out here chugging along, playing with injuries.
Hey, you know what? He's there every day. You're right. That computer is here. It works more than derpy, so I'm I'm all about that.
It gets ice up after every game. It gets shot up before every show. It's a game day player, boys.
Mark Malone, I think we're going to have our choice of Lemon, Concepcion, and or Leone at number 21. I do want to say what's up to SF Surf. I definitely recognize the name. Welcome back to the show, SF Surf. He says, why would he want to go to the Vikings where he has to start a whole but you're right, absolutely. Let me finish your comment, to be fair. When he could go to the Steelers where he already is acclimated. I agree 100%. That was just the other team that was apparently interested in him. So if we're looking at his options, it's the Steelers, the Vikings, or retirement. I think that we could X out the Vikings. So just in case you're trying to figure out where he stands as of right now, we're still waiting for that decision. They were saying mid-March. Some people think it's going to be before the free agency starts next week. Mike tends to think it's going to be after free agency. So sometimes, hopefully, in this month, we are going to find out about him. But the only the point of me putting that up was those are basically his options, and they have 4 other people at least ahead of him. So it basically was bouncing back off of us. Vegas says this. None of these tight ends are dynamic like he is, though. I think there are too many other holes to pick him in round 1. What's up, Aaron J? There it is, Mike. There it is. Monday, off to a good start. Aaron J. Here we go. Steelers with the Rocks. I love that message every day on the show. John Quinn says, obviously, Rodgers' decision shapes any quarterback being drafted. Absolutely. Still don't want any before 99. Freimeister says, cut DK. He's a good and screwed the offense at the most important time. Rodgers beats Rudolph. Get a true quarterback that can develop a year. You know what? I don't necessarily disagree. Freimeister, you're saying things that make sense, but you're saying things that's like, what are we going to do then? What are we going to do? I mean, we kind of already have a receiver in place with DK. Yes, he drops the ball. Yes, he punches fans. But at the end of the day, I mean, what are we going to do? Get rid of him, and then we'll be looking for a second wide receiver? I mean, you make sense. That's the hard part about what you're saying. Unfortunately, it's kind of where it is now. Mike, remember last year we thought that we were going to have this awesome tandem of George Pickens and DK Metcalf, and then that slipped us, and here we are. We have one wide receiver. He ends up being suspended in the most important games of the year. So again, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? What can we do?
Right. I don't know.
Vegas says it would be nice if Aaron would let Lamar know. You know what? And he may have. They may already know what's going on. Maybe for draft reasons, maybe for free agent reasons, maybe the old smokescreen. You know what I mean? They could very well know what the answer is. It could very well be yes. And again, you still have to play the game with free agency around the corner and with the draft. So, and again, as I did say earlier, people of all levels of the Steelers organization have maintained constant communication with Aaron Rodgers since the season ended. So maybe that tells something. Again, I'm not saying anything, but maybe that tells something. Let's go to Fry. Fry says draft a quarterback, develop a year behind Raw. And again, that's not the worst idea either. Maybe we should have been doing that behind Big Ben, right? Or was that what they thought Mason? I don't know. But you're not wrong, Mike. A young quarterback developing, is that what Will Howard is supposed to be? Is there going to be another quarterback that comes in also to basically be in the same position that Will Howard is in? I don't know. I don't know. This offseason is going to answer a lot of these questions, I hope.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot to be done with this team, but
it really is.
But there's still a lot of key players on this team, or good players in key positions. So it's not as drastic as it seems. So, they were a 10-win team last year. They're really close. They're closer to contending than they are closer to like being a shit team, being one of the worst in the league.
That's like saying the people that are millionaires are closer to my bank account than they are than Elon Musk's bank account.
Yeah.
They're millionaires.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I got you. Let's just scoot on the board here. Ralph says change of J. Freimeister says this. He says if there are any defensive studs or freak offensive linemen, then go there. Ralph says change of head coach and new decision making. Absolutely, man. It's going to be. And again, that's not anything that we're even putting into the equation when we're thinking free agency, then we're thinking draft. It's going to be a whole different system, guys. So we're going to see a lot of things that's changing the way that this team is going to be moving forward in these next two big events. Again, 1 week from today, tampering period for the free agency, followed up on Wednesday, does kick off free agency at 4:00 p.m. And then, Mike, just a little over a month, April 23rd is the draft today. We're already in March. So next month, the draft already. A lot of big things going on for our Steelers this offseason. John Quinn says Steelers will know Rodgers' decision before next Tuesday. You know what? I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But you know how Rodgers is. I mean, what if he's, what if he's surfing next week when he can't get to the phone to let us know.
He gets eaten by a shark.
Hey, right. Aaron Rodgers got eaten by a shark. Was he still going to play for us? Let me just go right here to Schmalacost. I do want to say welcome to the show. Schmalacost says this on the terrible board. Trading GP for a third is the what was that anyway? What Mike? Now here we are, a year removed almost. What's the most logical explanation for what went down with George Pickens?
Oh, like they signed DK, and then like George was freaking out on the team in the facility, and then you compound that with everything else that happened to him while he was here in that last season, and it was like, okay, we don't want this headache anymore, and we're going to move him for a third-round pick, which is what we would have got if he left via free agency. It sucked they had to do it, but
But isn't these the guys that are successful wide receivers, the ones that are going to be headaches?
They are, but they can destroy your team, destroy your locker room. And, he went down. Dallas had a hell of a year, but you saw Dallas did fuck all.
Yeah.
I
mean, a lot. Their defense had a lot to do with that. But point taken. Cody says this Omar Khan doesn't find the players. Andy Weidl is in charge of that. Ty says they both are. Tortilla says Rooney was promised 40 tight ends 2,000 years ago. Now he's just getting them all one time. Freimeister said so no names pop at running back and wide receiver, but the real talent goes high. If you got a Puka, take him. Bettis was a first-round draft. Gainwell was a role player for the Eagles and the best in Pittsburgh. They're weak. Cody says this, not the guy that rebuilt the Eagles gets the credit. Omar is a bum. Mark Malone, we need multiple wide receivers. I like Burks in the mids. But there's nothing strange about his name, Mark. I just don't understand that pick for you. I just don't get it. John Quinn says this. I can see them signing Dobbs if they don't trade for BJT. Wouldn't cost them a pick. Again, guys, next week we could have a new wide receiver. It could be a Dobbs. It could be a BTJ. It could be, we don't know who. We don't know who is. And this is the fun of the offseason, Mike. Again, as you were waiting week to week to watch your Steelers play, we're waiting week to week now to find out what the next move is for our Steelers and how this whole thing's going to play out. Again, guys, free agency next week. Big stuff happening in the NFL. No two ways about that. Ralph says this project's not good when you're trying to win. Now kick and punt return guy as well. Cody says this Mike's hissing sounds like a like an oil well before you have a blowout. I thought it was his nose whistling for the longest time.
Cody, you know what? You just ruined it for everyone. I'm canceling that new computer. We're gonna have to deal with the whistle until I die.
Let's see. Let's go right here. Tyrone says huge offseason. Absolutely. This is a huge offseason for Omar. Might close the BOP. Fry Meister says this. It's nice to just call guitar. Absolutely, man. We're working on that, sir. We are working on that. Let's do scoot up to Yinzer Joe. Thomas's production went down after Jags traded for Jacoby Myers. He wasn't in their plan moving forward. You know, and that Jacoby Myers move for sure certainly played a role as well. John Quinn says enter Jacoby Myers, already a known commodity. BTJ in second-year player. Vegas has no doubt maybe they will add a call-in option, but so far they haven't. Let's go to Ralph. Ralph says Tom Donahue used to say, get them good or get them gone. And the Steelers are not the Salvation Army. Mark Malone, I wonder if one of the Jerky Boys. I'm sure we'll get some Jerky Boys calling, and that's all right. I'm ready. I'm ready for the Jerky Boys as I do got my my soundboard under construction, like that. Right around the time that the phones do get rolling, I think my soundboard is going to be right where I want it. I was up till 5 this morning working on it. I'm going to be honest. 5 this morning, it was 5:18 or something like that. I'm like, I got to get to sleep. Vegas says you're going to grab Joseph's what? Also, Fry Meister said, I thought I heard a big bird. I thought it was Mike's nose whistling for the longest time. I got to be honest. Mark Malone says, I bet they know Dante Corleone. Kenneth says Skylar showed traces of his old self, even doing well in the preseason. And then he got jumped in Ireland. Vegas, that was the next words out of my mouth. That was the next words out of my mouth was him getting jumped in Ireland. Ireland? Tater tort? No.
What did Tater Tart say?
He didn't say anything, but you know what I was thinking? Skylar Thompson got mugged.
Oh yeah, he
Ireland.
did. Oh,
That's
yeah. I bet that was Tater.
Where the hell is he at anyway? Where is that Tater? He's gonna be on derpy status. I'm gonna have him and Derpy shitting in a diaper by the end of the month. Competition, see who can drop the biggest load. Let's go right here to Somber. Motherfuckers get jumped every day, B. David Muse, I do want to say welcome back to the show. He says, why they want the community to pay for a new stadium and not the Roonies? Didn't the community pay for Heinz Field? You know what? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I just know that they do need to make a lot of improvements. Whether they don't build a new stadium, whatever it is they got to do, they got to get out of that F- or F grade and spend some money somewhere. However they decide to get it done, because again, being the 31, Mike, the 31st worst graded team out of 32. That doesn't feel very Steeler-like to me. I'm just saying.
No, he has to figure something out about that.
Absolutely. Frymeister subbed in like, appreciate that, sir. Thank you, my man. Welcome aboard. Love to have you. Freaking awesome messages so far. Ralph says this offensive line, a mash unit until can't help the club if you're in the tube. Into Joe, they're putting new grass down today in the they are. They're putting new grass down. That's going to be done. Like they got new stadiums, new stadium seats in the upper deck. I noticed they've been working on for the past couple months or couple weeks. So things are happening to keep it maintained. But all those other things, Mike, all go down the list. just everything, how families, the things that they could do while they're there, just the whole way down the list was a failure. Again, I don't know what they got to do, but you got to fix that. You got to fix that.
Got to spend some money there, Art.
Spend a little bit of money, Art. Let's move on here to Vegas. When was the last time you heard an NFL quarterback on a road trip with his team getting jumped? Really?
Well, it's bad when no offensive lineman is there to hang out with you.
Yeah, usually the offensive linemen are there to have your back. What is the chances the quarterback?
Not even the third stringers were hanging out with him.
Come on, Dylan Cook should have been there. Somebody should have been there with him. What about didn't Mark Sanchez? He got himself into some shit too in the offseason, didn't he? Or early in the season?
Oh, he was all drunk and followed that guy and then tried to fight him. That guy stabbed him.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, he's up on Mark Sanchez is up on felony charges.
Yeah. What's more embarrassing, Mark Sanchez being up on felony charges here in his retirement, or the butt tackle?
Ooh. That's just a continuation of the butt fumble.
I agree. Let's scoot on the board here, Mike. I do see some things going on I want to get to here. Let's start right here. Mark Malone. Hell, I think he was the top graded left tackle. Tommy Strings, a rookie for competition for Cook at left tackle, would be the right decision. I do too. Something has got to go. Unless you bring in a sure thing, a left tackle from free agency, this is more than likely the scenario, Mike, will be Dylan Cook will be in some kind of competition this summer.
Yeah, there has to be competition.
There has to be, right. And the thing is, if Dylan Cook's going to be the guy, I want to see him earn it.
Yeah.
I want to see him, push himself to keep getting better. And I'm sure he does. These young men are these people in any sport, Mike. They always push themselves. But again, that competition will bring the best out in you and see what these guys really have. So,
I mean, he only played 348 snaps last year.
All right.
Let's not get carried away when some of these guys are, rated above him with 900 to 1,200 snaps last year. They played a shit ton of football where he didn't play that much.
No, you are right. Mark Malone, was he number one in the league?
No, not even close.
Who was that?
No, he wasn't even close to the highest rated in the league. Penny Sewell was the highest rated at 95, and then following that is Tristan Wirfs at 92 on PFF. All
right. We did get that. Let's go to Vegas. Vegas says the Steelers had to allow high school games to be played at Heinz Field to get their. But in all fairness, they've been doing this ever since I was born. It used to be Three River Stadium when I was a kid. Everyone they wanted to get the Three River Stadium, and they just never changed it. It's the high school championship games for the Western Pennsylvania part of the tournament are always played at Pittsburgh Steelers home field now. But Mike, they do it a little different because they have 6 classes now. They can only fit 3 games, and then they put 3 elsewhere, like Peters Township, somewhere like that. So it is changing. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. Sommer said that's what, and that has what to do with him being a third-string quarterback. Jones is a bust, Mark Malone says, but also Mark Malone says 100% guaranteed. Freimeister says this. Can you go? We are. Yes, everybody. They're expecting. Where's Fry? Who's from Central Pennsylvania? Was it Fry?
It was Fry.
Fry. Yes, of course. They're expecting over 500,000 people to be jam packed down in the Point Park and over the bridges and onto the North Shore. But yes, we will be down there. We'll be down at the draft this year. We invite you to come on down. It's gonna be a great time. Let's go to Tommy Strings. I heard a so-called insider say that Broderick can't move his head left or right after surgery. You guys hear that? No.
Ooh.
But
I knew he had a long rehab to go. I didn't realize it was that bad, if true.
It would be one thing if he was just if we were so happy with Broderick Jones and we're like, all right, well, let's let him get better. Let's let him heal. Let's figure out some temporary fixes. That's not the case. He's not a light at the end of the tunnel.
Nope. They gotta get better at that position. It wouldn't surprise me if they pick someone in the draft. No, I'm not saying high, but maybe a 4th round, 5th round tackle type situation.
It's possible. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't. Like they got to bring in somebody. There's got to be people on that side of the line. And then, as I said, once you get somebody, you're going to need depth as well. And the Calvin Andersons are gone, and Ciamalo being a starter, more than likely leaving, and just the big red question mark at the left tackle. So I mean, you're not only looking for people to play the position, you're going to also be looking for depth as well. No doubt in my mind, Mike, that those 12 picks are going to certainly not go in vain, as they're going to be drafting depth as you get to day 2, day 3. That's all, it's going to be a lot of depth pieces with those 12 picks. So, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. I'm going to go right here to way too many games being played on that. Absolutely, it is. And then Pitt plays there full time, all their home games. David Muse, I do want to say welcome back. David, he says it's time to fire a con artist. How many first-round picks are going to be a bust before everyone realizes Con is a bad GM? But he only had the 2 so far, right? He's only
Broderick Jones, Troy Fatano, and Derek Harmon are all of his first-round draft picks.
Yeah, I think, and again at the time, Broderick Jones looked good, but point taken though. I mean, they haven't been. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
But then you take a look further down in that first draft class. Joey Porter Jr., who's a potential All-Pro. Keanu Benton's not a starter, but a rotational piece. Darnell Washington, a beast. Nick Herbig, a beast. That's just the first draft alone. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys who are actively contributing to this team. Then you get into the next draft. Fatano and Frazier, your starting right tackle and your center. Roman Wilson's turned out to be a bust. Then you follow that up with Peyton Wilson, a rotational piece at the linebacking core, and then Mason McCormick, your starting right guard. You draft 3/5 of your offensive line in one draft. Those are good draft classes.
Let me move forward. Cody says this. Roman Wilson reminds me of the Spork on Toy Story. He reminds him of that Spork on Toy Story. NVK Somber says Mark Malone. We got the cash. We got the picks. We do. We have a lot of capital to make things happen. We got draft picks. We have money. So again, guys, I don't expect us to be sitting around on our hands for the next couple months. Very much, very exciting. A lot's going to be happening again next week. Free agency kicks off next month. The draft kicks off. So much stuff going on, and again, all new for the most part. Coaching staff from top to bottom. So it's very, very interesting, guys, to see which way this goes. Ralph says Steelers are drafting a long snapper in the first round. Also, Ty says this. David, he only missed one. Okay, going back to that draft comment I'm seeing. Cody says this. Omar Khan is a ace hole. Ty says y'all hear this Muth trade news. When I heard about Muth, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, Ty, but this is the scoop that I got. The Muth is not available despite the trade interest rumors going around as of this morning. Before I got on, I did read this. There's as many as 5 teams that are inquiring about Pat Freiermuth, Mike. But as before, right when we got on, the last I read, Muth is not available despite all the trade interest.
Yeah, I just I was just scrolling through Twitter and noticed that as well, that it was been reported again that now it's up to 6 teams have been calling the Steelers, and Omar Khan keeps saying he is not available.
Mike, what would you give up for him? Would you give up something vital that we need? Would you give up Pat Freiermuth in a deal that could bring us a starting left tackle, somebody who could come right in and be the guy? And I mean, again, 3 biggest positions on the field: left tackle, quarterback, and cornerback. Yep. if you could land that left tackle with the Pat Freiermuth, where we, in theory, we have an abundance in a sense, because I don't think that Jonnu's going to be. I hope that Jonnu Smith's not going to be around next year. But with a guy like Darnell Washington, does that give you a little bit more luxury or leeway, I guess would be the word, to maybe use Pat Freiermuth if you could really pull in a guy that's going to be able to step in left tackle, play that position, and be that guy for you for the next X amount of years, Mike, because we certainly need a left tackle way more than we need tight end depth.
Yeah, hypothetically, yeah, if that was an offer to where hey, this guy's we really want this tight end, where our left tackle, we for some odd reason we would trade him. Yeah, sign me the fuck up, because it's harder to find a starting left tackle than it is to find a starting tight end. So I 100% I would do that. I would even do I would even
like
trade
move.
Freiermuth if you can get me a legit number 2 wide receiver. I would do that.
Like,
Then I would go out and find me another tight end in the draft for free agency.
And I'm a Pitt guy, and you and I always give each other shit about our football teams, Pitt and Penn State. But you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Mike. I am satisfied with Pat Freiermuth.
Me too.
Again,
yeah.
I think a lot of the heat that he took over the past season and a half was unwarranted. At the end of the day, I think he's a damn good. I think he's a damn good tight end, Mike. And again, I think you could get some value out of him. And as you're saying, the number of teams that are interested in him is certainly growing. It was 4, then 5 this morning. You're saying 6 now. So again, if you could land yourself one of those 3 key pieces, Mike, and in this situation, it's more than likely would be the tackle position. I think that you might have to do it because you do have a Darnell Washington who can be the team's tight end. And again, then you could build your depth beyond that.
Yeah, that's what I do. But like, I just don't know what team would be crazy enough to trade a starting left tackle. But my God, if there's one out there, I would fucking do it in a heartbeat.
Who does the Bears have? It seems like they always like getting.
The Bears have become competent recently.
I know, I don't like it.
But if you could fleece a team, like the Bears always come to mind.
Let's go to Mark Malone. He says, "I'm about to take a rip off the old keyboard duster. Mock draft incoming." Mark's mock drafts get better by the more duster he partakes, I guess you would say. And John Quinn says sharing facilities led to Kenny Pickett busted picks, setting us back to where we are now with the quarterback room. Sorry. David Muse says the 3 years Khan has been GM, bad first round picks and bad free agent signing, just bad decisions. One thing that I do like about him, David, is he's active. And I think that's his strength. He's not afraid to pull the trigger. And I think that's what we're going to need at the GM moving forward. Just because, again, this is a new era. This is a new team. This is a new coaching system. It's going to, all new coaches. And again, a lot of these players are going to be changing. I don't get me wrong. There's certainly flaws. There certainly are faults. But I do love his unwillingness to not sit on his hands, Mike. I do love the fact that he's willing to pull the trigger at the end of the day to make a move. Because, again, Mike, 2 years ago before Patrick Queen was here, bringing Patrick Queen in sounded like a damn good move. Yeah. He was an all-pro in Baltimore. So at the end of the day, I understand he's not perfect, but there are certain things about him that I do like. And again, just being able to pull that trigger on some of these moves sometimes. When was the last – listen, let me ask you this, Dave. When was the last time you could have ever imagined bringing in a Jalen Ramsey and a Jonnu Smith and all the players that he's managed to bring in? Yes, they didn't all become successful, or they wasn't all a success. But no GM has ever went after people in free agency, certainly the way that Omar does. And again, the more you do it, yes, you are going to have misses, but you're going to have hits as well. So I kind of sort of agree with you, but again, I like his activist. I love the way, Mike, he doesn't sit on his hands and he's not afraid to make moves because you have to make moves.
Not afraid to move on from guys either. But like to say his drafts were bad, like even last year's draft, Derek Harmon has proven to be he's going to be a stud. Caleb Johnson, I think that was a wasted pick. But Jack Sawyer showed that he can be a damn good backup edge. Y.A. Black showing a lot of potential. And Carson Bruner, you need a guy like that on special teams. So he's had 3 solid drafts back to back to back. The only high picks that he missed a couple of high picks, but so do a lot of teams. And even like that miss on Broderick Jones, I think that was more on the coaching staff and the player. Like failing to develop him into the way he can be, because Broderick Jones has shown flashes that he can do this job. But like to say he's had bad drafts, it's patently false.
I do want to say thank you, Freimeister.
I do like the comments back and forth about this right here. We can talk. I love talking the draft about who was who was the bad pick.
I just wanted to say bye to Freimeister. He did say in the very last message. He says, got to go. Thanks for a great show, guys. Thank you, Freimeister. Awesome having you, my man. Hope to see you back. You were great on the board. Thank you. Have a great one, dude. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry, I didn't want to.
No. Like, I'm not trying to badmouth anyone on the board. I just, I think the drafts have been really rock solid. I agree. Like the free agency has been hit or miss.
All right, Cody. Cody says this Tyrone is going to root for Artie Smith next year. Let's go to Tyrone. Cody OSU still better than Texas. Vegas says which Rooney thought allowing the outgoing GM to draft one last time was a good idea.
Oof.
That computer is Matt Canada. Cody's Mike's computer with the yes, it is. Let's go right here. Ralph Williams says Omar Khan, a numbers cruncher and assistant GM. Andy Weidel does all the work. Cody says, yeah, Tyrone, have fun with your 3 tight end sets and jet sweeps. Let's go to Ty says this. Smith won't do that with the Ohio State offense. LOL. They have wide receivers. Cody says Artie Smith doesn't believe in wide receivers. They're fugazi to him. Fake. Let's go to Vegas. He says it's tough to draft a guard in round 1 because who wants to pay a guard $25 million on a 5-year, 5th-year option? NFL needs to change how they pay the offensive line as they are not all the same. That's a good point. That is a lot of money to give an offense unless you got a stud, Mike.
Then you extend them before that 5th-year option comes in, baby.
Yeah. Tyrone says, shaking my head. It's OSU, Cody. They're always good, somber opinions without solutions or just thoughts. Also, Jan Joquin says this. They already know, just like last year. I think he's referring back to the Aaron Rodgers decision. I think they do too. I'm going to be honest with you. Again, this isn't like a lot of our jobs. I mean, these people are. This is high end shit, man. Millionaires, and I'm sure, Mike, that they certainly know a lot more than we do at this point.
I sure so hope so.
A multi-billion-dollar business. I mean, there's pressures and agents and people like this making calls all the time. Cody says Artie Smith will probably trade Jeremiah Smith for Jonnu Smith. David Muse, that's why the players gave Khan a C- because the fans think Khan's an A+, but the team can't win a playoff game or put a wide receiver 2 on the field. I think that's a big part of it as well, in my opinion. Vegas says, who Ohio State thought we need at Arthur Smith as offensive coordinator? I know who's seen that and said, I got to have me that. I got to have me some Arthur Smith on this team. I got to.
And then their big wide receiver coach ends up leaving to go coach elsewhere too.
Right,
and that's why a lot of people went there I think it was Brian Hartline. That was a weird change of the guard there at Ohio State. I'm scratching my head, literally and figuratively, trying to figure out what the hell they were doing.
Let me go to Tyrone. He says they can't win a playoff game because we had shitty coaching, but played tough competition as well. My opinion, or my problem with Omar, wide receiver 2 in contract. The wide receiver 2 is one of the biggest head scratches in my life. I've never seen a team willingly go into 2 straight seasons and not somehow find themselves a wide receiver 2. I just haven't. It's unbelievable to me. Hanjo Quinn says this on the defensive side. Graham will use the strengths of his players and be able to scheme them to succeed. Austin couldn't make in-game adjust. He couldn't at all, and it was hard to watch. So hopefully Coach Graham can do these things again, guys. Hopefully this is an upgrade. We have to remember that he was the defensive coordinator on the 32nd best team this year. I just want to keep that in your mind. Yes, he did good things with what he had, but at the end of the day, that's Raiders defense. The Raiders finished 32nd out of 32. So. Just keep that in mind. Vegas says maybe Aaron is in a cave on one of those dark, silent vacations again. It's possible. It is possible. You never know with Aaron. Who knows what he's doing? David says, well, what happened to Pickens was another bad con artist to say. You know what? That's, again, that fell under the Omar. That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with you entirely. Mike's finding debatable points, but at the end of the day, I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying. Sommer says most logical explanation was they planned to trade him pre-draft, no takers, so they did it afterwards. It was his locker room presence, and that's ultimately what I would think too. I mean, come on. Remember when him and Deontay Johnson were both on the team, and Deontay Johnson was walking off the field past live fumbles and shit while it was going on? I was ready to lose my mind. Listen, I had all dark facial hair before that season, Mike. Just in these past 2 years, this is what happened to me. So
yeah,
we need a wide receiver 2 more than anything right now. It's going to save my life, believe me. Tyrone agreed, but we'll replace him this year. Thank you, Fry-Meister. We appreciate it. So he says, good show. Appreciate that, my man. Chan Jung Quinn says, until the beginning of free agency, we're all just feeling tight at this point. You're right. Cody says, I'm on the top. I'm on the top of Mike's list. You are always on the top of Mike's list, Cody.
Mm-hmm. Number 1, Cody. Number 1 on the list.
Frameister said this. He says, I realized I said we need almost everything. This ought to be one hell of a year. You know what? It's going to be one hell of an offseason. And again, there's going to be different people in the next couple of months that we're going to be excited to buy their jerseys. So however that way the Steelers season finished out, like there's going to be rookies, there's going to be free agents. People are coming into town, and we're going to be like, you know what? I want to get that jersey, whether you do it or whether you don't. This is an exciting time of year, guys. The offseason isn't for everybody. But you know what? The people that love it, they love it, and we're here for it. We're here for it all year round. It doesn't stop, guys. As we are closing in on our 5-year anniversary of this show, Mike, the big 1,000 coming up this summer. So much coming on this year, and a lot of growth, and it's all because of you guys. Thank you so much, as always, to the viewers, the board, everybody. All make it possible. Let me scoot on here for a few more, Mike, and then we're going to hit a couple more topics as we are rounding third on the show. Time flies when you're having fun. That's what they say, right?
Yes, it does, man. It is zooming today.
Let's go right here to Tortilla. Tortilla says this, Mike. He says, I'm not going to lie. I don't even hear the whistle, is what Tortilla is saying on the board. I don't hear it either.
This is why you're on my friends list.
White on white crime. White on white crime is what Vegas is saying. Also, Mark Malone says, fucking Tater trying to set off a car bomb on the Steelers. You know what? I thought I hear he's coming up here. Tater's here. Hold on. Cody said, let's put another shrimp on the Barbie, which is, again, it's Australian, but nonetheless.
Okay, I guess.
Funny. Vegas says they do not have weights, but use Bowflex machines instead. There's the Tater Tart. There's our resident Brown fan, the resident Browns fan who comes and hangs out. I want to say welcome. And he did. Of course, the Browns did traded I don't know who they traded, but for the Texans, Mike, there was a move. They are bringing offensive tackle Titus Howard into Cleveland.
Yeah. And I want to know what the Texans are doing, because they traded him and they traded another offensive lineman as well.
Yeah.
The running back. Like, your offensive line has sucked every year, and you had a good offensive line, C.J. Stroud's rookie year, that you dismantle it, then you dismantle it again, then you keep dismantling it. I want to know what they are doing down there, because it is a head scratcher.
Yeah, it sure is, Mike. And again, maybe they're getting more pieces for that defense, because the defense couldn't get any better. If you went out and got more talent on that defense, come on, who's going to be able to score on that team? Somber says, there's our Tater Tart. There he is. He's all right. We were concerned about you, Tater Tart. Over there in Ireland. Kilt wearing, bagpipe playing.
Scotland.
Potato eating. Kai says, I feel bad for him. Only O-line you got. Sorry. Vegas says the dude yelled, aren't you Mr. Butt Fumble? And Mark shanked him. He took it hard. That Mark Sanchez took that butt fumble hard, man. Literally and figuratively, right? Let's see. Mark Malone says the mullet played tackle in college. Somber said Marshawn Lattimore got released. Tyrone, I bet Rondo's happy as fuck. Han-Jung Quinn says there is no DD along the offensive line in this draft. If you're taking offensive line at 21, better be DD 2.0. Freimeister said the poor guy in the alley bent over while working, and it triggered Mark. The civil suit says it was just released. Vegas says Three Rivers was basically cement spray painted green. You're right, it was.
Yeah, it was.
I'm surprised people didn't complain about that as much as they complain about the surface at Acrisure Stadium. Tyrone says, I bet he is. He hates. Tyrone says, I bet he is. He hates him. He's washed. Vegas says, what happened to the stadium Pitt played in back when we were. Dude, I love Pitt Stadium. I loved it. It was perfect for Oakland. It was perfect for Pitt. It was just so compact and so small. And they tore it down. And in case you're wondering, turn on a Pitt basketball game. That's what happened to Pitt Stadium. That is right there. So there's no space in Oakland, unfortunately. If maybe something toward the airport or just outside. I don't know. I don't know what the ideas are that they could do for Pitt, but I loved Pitt Stadium, Mike. It's no longer there. I was pissed. I was very pissed whenever they got rid of it. And again, now the Peterson Event Center is in its spot.
The Pete, I like the Pete though.
I like the Pete too. It's an amazing place, but at the end of the day, I want a football field.
Yeah. They need their own home.
That was when Pitt was playing at the it's Civic Arena. They were playing their basketball games at the Civic Arena every year. Somber says that first draft was solid as fuck. Tortilla says, tell him Vanilla, Khan for life. Hand Joe Quinn says Khan is not a bust, basing that on one pick who was played in a position he wasn't drafted to play in. Somber says, of course, they'll say that he isn't available right now. We'll see in a couple of weeks. We're talking about Aaron. Tortilla, I'd trade Pat for BTJ. Would you?
No,
I wouldn't either. I think you could get. I think you could get more for. I think there's more value with Pat Fryermuth that we could get something a little better. I just do. Freimeister said, you guys each tell a joke during the broadcast transmission. We could absolutely. We could tell all kind of jokes. We could do all kind of stuff, my man. Just keep throwing up on the board. Who knows? It might just be the next thing we do. Somber says the Browns. There you go. Best joke ever. How does it get any funnier than that, Mike? The Cleveland Browns.
It's the joke that keeps on joking, man. You know, it's the best.
It is. Vegas is not having a wide receiver 2 in a league built for passing more than ever in 2 years is a big strike against any GM, in my opinion. That's my strike as well. That's a huge drop of the ball, in my opinion. Tater says that's rich coming from the 32nd ranked organization. The Browns. Come on, Tater. Here we go. Salver says it's a decent tight end class. I love Muth, but I wouldn't hate a trade if it's worth. That's what I'm saying. If you could get the value from a Muth on a trade, I would certainly do it for a value trade. But I better be getting something nice out of it, Mike, at the end of the day.
Yep.
I'm going to go to Jeffrey Romanowski. Jeffrey Romanowski, I do want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to the Terrible Board. He says they'd be those who go to other teams. Welcome to the show. Thank you for the comment. Also, Somber says, kiss the rings, Tater. That's right. Kiss the rings, Tater. Tyrone says, I do that tortilla Muth for BTJ. See, I think that you could get a little bit more. I do. Because if they're trying to get a third round pick, I think you could get something more value than I just do. Let's go to Freimeister says, got to go. Thank you. We did get that one, my man. Also, Somber says KJ is not a wasted pick. That's like saying, well, Howard is a wasted pick. We don't know what either of them have yet. We don't. Seeing very minimal of both of them. Of course, Howard with the injury. KJ just didn't get the playing time last year. Tortilla says, yeah, we're using KJ this year. KJ will be good this year is what Tyrone is saying. This is what Tortilla is saying. Vegas says, Ryan just shaved his beard and glue it on V. And that was the plan, Vegas. Last week we were saying if every team, and I'm talking all four, if all four Pittsburgh professional teams, the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins, and the Riverhounds all advance out of the first round, I'm shaving my beard, I'm shaving my hair, and I'm shaving my eyebrows. If all four teams win, and Mike is going to glue it on top of his head, my beard, my hair, my eyebrows, it's all going on Mike's head. That is if all four of those teams advance past the first round of the playoffs. Tyrone says, Ryan, if Steelers win a playoff game this year, you save Mike. Shave and Mike wear a wig. Yeah, that's kind of along the lines we're going, for sure. Scoot up just a hair right here. Man, we're doing pretty good on the board today again, Mike. I can't believe it. Tortilla Omar was told if he gets a wide receiver 2, it's coming out of his chicken nugget fund. Tater says, I thought I was top of Mike's list. Oh, you are on top of one of Mike's lists.
Tortilla?
No, Tater Tard.
Oh, Tater Tard doesn't even make it. You gotta rank as like a human being for me to put you up there. You're a Browns fan, okay? You're like Pond Scum. I love you, but you're like Pond Scum.
Like Derpy. I mean, come on.
Exactly. You're like Derpy.
Hand John Quinn
his
says,
own special category.
Pickens had a top 8 quarterback throwing to him with an already established wide receiver one across from him. Pickens had. Tortilla says Vanilla Thunder is the GOAT. Also, Somber says this. Cody says that to anyone with any accent will have my ass off. With the shrimp on the Barbie, little Asian man walking around. Cody's up there, throwing a shrimp on the Barbie. Right here to Bloodbot Ministries. I do want to say welcome, Bloodbot Ministries. Got to keep Gainwell. And as I was saying earlier, what did I say about Gainwell? This will be the first time, Bloodbot, if he would leave, the first time in 30 years, the Steeler that got picked to be the team's MVP left the following year. 30 years ago, Neil O'Donnell was the last time a team voted MVP for the Steelers, was the last Steeler to leave the following year, 30 years. So if KG does it, it would be a rare thing. But I do know, Mike, that people got their eyes on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be a number one back, and people aren't looking at him as a number one back, but he's certainly he's going to test out. He's testing out the waters. He's seeing what's out there for himself.
I can see KC making a run at him. I think he'd fit well.
I think he would fit great with KC, and that's unfortunate for us because I think that he would do a great job at making them a lot better, and they're already a good team. A lot Lizard got his phone. Tortilla says. Vegas says, was it their river or lake that was on the fire for years in Cleveland? I thought it was
the Cuyahoga River.
I thought it was the football team. They've been on. Let's go to Bloodbot Industries. He does say this, or Bloodbot Mysteries. I'm sorry. Bloodbot Mysteries says, why don't they give Will Howard a chance? Well, Bloodbot, he was injured all last year. And the unfortunate part it was preseason when he got hurt early. So we didn't even get a chance to see him in preseason. By the time he got back from the broken hand, he was kind of not needed anymore, as they had Aaron slotted in at 1, Mason slotted in at 2. And then he did eventually, once Aaron got injured in the Bears game, Will Howard was in the running. I mean, he would have been the next quarterback in had there been an injury to Mason. So that's why we haven't seen him get that chance. I think this July is going to be big if you want to see what's going on with Will Howard, albeit it only be preseason, but we haven't seen the guy play a snap in a black and gold uniform. So I'm certainly looking forward to July football for that reason as a Steeler fan. He follows it up by saying the middle of our defense needs work. Absolutely. There's a lot of holes that we need to work on in this draft and this free agency, guys. And again, just 1 week from today, Mike, the tampering period for free agency starts 1 week from today at noon.
Can't wait.
Vegas says they need to demolish of the little towns around Pittsburgh and build a huge Steeler complex around. I dig it. I dig. Bloodbot Ministry says this con was getting his marching order from Tomlin, who seemingly played every pick out of position. Tyrone says, I don't care Muth getting up there in age, and he sucks yard after catch. He's a zone killer about it. Muth for BTG. Worth it in a McCarthy offense. You know what? I think outside of the offense we just ran, I think that you're going to see Pat Freiermuth excel again. Because prior to Arthur Smith coming here, his first 2 years, he had more catches as a tight end in a Steeler uniform than any other tight end in Steeler history prior to him in that first period of time. And that's Heath Miller's and Eric Green's and guys like this. So, again, in the right offense, I think that Pat Freiermuth could be very effective, and you might see that this year. But, again, I want something of value if we can pull that off and if we do move Muth, of course. Let's go to right here. I know he's right under Tomlin. We became the Browns. Think about it. I don't want to. Tortilla says if you could get Pat or BTJ solves wide receiver 2 opens up the option to bring in another tight end for cheap or labor. And we got Darnell too. That's the one thing that really gives us it makes this move not crazy for us at the end of the day, because Darnell Washington could easily be our number 1 tight end, and you're just working on depth after that. Sober says, laugh my ass off. Eyebrows would be epic. Hey, you know what? That's why I went there, because all 4 teams have to get out of the first round. I'm just saying. I don't take a bad bet. Let's go to Joe Hinge on Quinn says this. It isn't that Khan didn't try 2 years in a row. It takes 2 to tango. How many of us are drooling over Ayuk? Where is he? I agree. We all wanted Ayuk 2 off seasons ago. My God. You're not wrong. Sommer says, I thought for sure Kirk would Kirk was another one. Christian Kirk, Mike, that was a name that kind of came and went as time went on. He says, I thought for sure Kirk would be a Steeler last offseason too. Nope, it kind of goes hand in hand with having a desirable quarterback situation. And we haven't had that in quite some time.
That's the thing. You know, like free agents aren't going to want to come here without a good quarterback throwing them the ball. So we got to get at least two in the draft. And convince one in free agency to come here.
And we can't get a good quarterback until we get a good line, and we can't get a good line until we get. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And again, as we say, Mike, this is a big change. It's a big transition offseason with everything going on with this team. So a lot of these questions, hopefully, are going to be answered for us here in the next month and a half, with the draft being at the end of April and free agency next week. Let me go to Vegas. Of course, the NY mob paid him right after the Super Bowl. And Neil O'Donnell. Tyrone says, facts, kind of glad we waited for this draft to get a wide receiver too. And you know what? This is no better draft to get a wide receiver too from. And this is as deep as a wide receiver draft as I've seen in a while, Mike.
Yeah, it's stacked, man. They're guys that get a guy in the first, get a guy in the third type of draft, where you can double up and totally change that wide receiver room for the better, and still have hope that you can still keep Roman Wilson and hope that he can develop. Now the pressure's off of him. He can slot in better. And whoever they bring in free agency as well will slot into a nice role. There's a lot of receiver talent at the top of this draft.
Han John Quinn says O'Donnell was escorted out of the door. Yeah, damn right he was. Nobody ever seen his ass ever since. We had Chad Brown and Levon Kirkland on the show. And interesting. Go back and watch those episodes, if you will. There was definitely some commentary about Mr. O'Donnell. Tortilla Jackson says this. I don't know. Would have been nice to have some wide receivers a few years ago too. Tater says worst organization in the league is hard to sell. And the Browns are quite the buy. Let me tell you. What's going on?
Who made the playoffs? Who won the division last year?
Who hasn't won the division since 1987? That's right. The Browns have not won the division since 1987, guys. 88, 89. One of them years. Doesn't even matter at this point. Let's go to Vegas. Southwestern Pennsylvania should have a vote on which town gets demolished in the name of a team progress. You know what? We can do that. I'm sure we could all agree on a town that everybody hates. Vegas says there has to be one town that clearly sucks more than the others, and I'm sure there are. And laughing it out is somber, guys. Let me touch on a couple topics, Mike, and we are going to start wrapping things up. We got question of the day. I threw you a softball today, so just letting you know that the question of the day is going to be relatively easy. It's going to get more difficult as the week goes on, but a couple things, Mike, that I do want to touch on before we do get ready to start that process. Debo and Joe, of course, James Harrison and Joe Hayden, Mike, they agree. The failing report card for the locker room was well-deserved. Not much about this locker room. It's made of wood. It has puny little nameplates that you slide right into the spot, Mike. It seems to be agreed on.
Yeah.
The locker room situation in Pittsburgh and all those other things. It's par for the course.
Yeah, like I trust their opinion. You know, they were there, they've seen it, they've lived there. So yeah, if they saying it's bad, it's got to be bad.
Also, PFF tabs Jalen Ramsey is the NFL's most versatile defender. The most versatile. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not saying he's the fastest, Mike, but the most versatile defender is what PFF is tabbing Jalen Ramsey at. Whether you agree, whether you disagree, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I know that he's certainly valuable, Mike. He is serviceable. He does a lot of different things on defense. Could things have gone a little better for him last year? Yes, but I don't know entirely that it was his fault. Again, a whole new coaching system, a lot of things coming up this year, Mike, different pieces in place. But the PFF, who I don't always agree with or even go by for that matter, did tab Jalen Ramsey as the NFL's most versatile defender.
You know what? Hey, it's a positive for us, so PFF knows what they're talking about.
Exactly. When it works in our favor, I love PFF. And finally, Mike, JPJ named one of the NFL's best perimeter cornerbacks. JPJ named one of the NFL's best perimeter quarterbacks. I know my man Tyrone on the board certainly won't disagree with that, Mike. What do you think about this young cornerback out of Penn State who seems to be doing a pretty damn good job? I mean, he doesn't give up touchdowns. Isn't that, at the end of the day, very important?
That's very important. That's what you want from your guy. So it's true. He is a lockdown, shutdown corner, and his penalty yardage has dropped from like last year. It was like over 100 something down to like below 60 this year. He's gotten better year over year. He's a stud.
He is a stud. Mike, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, good. Let's get a couple more messages, Mike, and we are going to start getting ready to get to the question of the day. I'm going to go right here. Right here. Snumber says 5 toilets is insane. They had to fight over the 2 upstairs when the others were full. It is crazy because again, there's got to be 100 people, like 53 football players, all those coaches, all those trainers, and there's always extra people lingering around in the locker room.
Yeah.
5 toilets. Think of that.
That's insane.
I mean, yes, it's my team, but at the end of the day, I admit that's pretty shitty. Come on.
But
Here, you know what? And the thing was, I had something for that as well, Mike, and I didn't take advantage. But here you go. There you go. Working on the soundboard. Well underway. Vegas says my high school had more than that and was built in the 1960s. Best in the league. Tyrone is saying about JPJ, of course. Tortilla says, Art, go find a tree, Rooney. And Vegas says, do the women employees have their own restrooms? I don't know. That's a good question. Vegas says players need to go crap in the woods like a young Shannon Sharp. Mike, why don't you tell everybody about the website and all the new things going on over there?
The Dumyinzers.com. That's the number 2 DUMYINZERS.com. Check it out, everyone. We got all of our links over there for running on social media. We got my blog, which is full of my dumb thoughts, and we have Mock Draft Monday over there for me. And over on the NFL Draft tab, we got RB with a couple articles up. We got Chomp, the other draft guru, got his top 5 targets for the Steelers in the first round. Check it out at the2dumyinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of cool things over there. Mike has been he's been putting some serious time into the new website. Go check it out, www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Again, the new guys that are on board will be making their on-air what's the word I'm looking for? Their on-air debut. Debut. They'll be doing that soon. But guys, before they do that, do check out their work over on the website as they are putting up articles and just their opinions on the draft and things that are coming up, guys. A lot of good stuff over there. Go check it out. www.the2dumyinzers.com. Time to get into some trivia for the day, Mike. Again, this is going to be draft trivia, where it's going to be a draft question regarding our Steelers. It's a softball. Again, I'm going to go a little bit difficult as the week goes on, get a little bit harder. But, Mike, today is a draft question. So put on your thinking caps. Everybody at home, everybody on the board, do the same thing. Get your thinking caps on. Let's get into this question of the day. It is, of course, a draft question. And, again, this is, Mike, I may have not thrown you an easy one like this for quite some time. So let's get at it. Who was the last wide receiver selected first overall by the Steelers? Who was the last wide receiver selected first overall by the Steelers? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. every day right here on the Tube.
On Tube.
Throw up your guesses if you got it. If you know it, throw it up on the board as well. The question is, guys, who was the last wide receiver the Steelers selected with their first overall pick in the draft? Ty is saying Santonio Holmes. Mike, Santonio Holmes is a good pick. Ty has up on the board. We'll give it another couple moments to let people throw up their guesses or answered. Richard Jankowski, I do want to say what's up, my man Richard. He says Lewis Lips. Lewis Lips is his guess, Mike. Let's see, Holmes, Swan. Hand-John Joe Quinn is saying Swan. Aaron Jade saying Santonio Holmes as well. Mike, some different answers. Why don't you give me your thought process on who you think it might be?
It is Santonio Holmes. He was the last one taken in the first round.
So no wide receivers.
No receivers since then.
Under the Tomlin era at all.
None. Zilch.
Wow,
Not.
that was Cowher's last pick. So that's an interesting take. Mike, is that going to be your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, let me get you locked in. Locking you in. All right.
Locked in.
There it is. You're locked in.
Locked in.
Aaron Jade says Santonio Holmes. Also, Vegas has traded up with the New York Giants to get San Antonio. Too easy, Somber says. I agree. But I number 10 is what Somber's saying. It seems to be the common answer, Mike. Again, I'm not saying that's it yet. I'm going to let other people throw up their guesses if they have, and we'll give another minute or so, and then we will reveal this answer. Tater says Holmes sucked. Yeah, Holmes sucked.
He was a bum.
You know what? The one play that Santonio Holmes made in the Super Bowl was more impressive than anything the Browns had ever done.
Exactly.
The Browns never been to a Super Bowl. And the one play that San Antonio made in that particular, and he made a bunch of plays in that game, but that one play was way more amazing than anything the Browns have ever done in their history. But that's why we have Tater Bard. He's fighting. He's fighting the fight. He's fighting the fight, guys. Holmes, no, he didn't. Vegas says, guys, here is the question of the day and the answer. Who was the last wide receiver selected number 1 overall by the Steelers, guys? And it was Santonio Holmes, of course, number 10.
Number 10.
Before that, Aaron Jade says Plexico Burris. I don't think Plex was the number 1.
Yeah, he was.
Was he first round?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we took everyone in the media flipped out because the year before we took Troy Edwards in the first round. Then he double dipped the following year and got Plex, and people were like, "Why were you doing that? It's so stupid."
That was Aaron's guess as well. Also, Vegas says this Browns took Winslow Jr. Yeah. Browns took Winslow Jr. instead of a Hall of Fame quarterback. So there you go. We just laugh. We just laugh at Tater here at the show, guys. So if you're new, just take a moment, point at the screen, and laugh at Tater anytime that you feel necessary. It's totally acceptable. Matter of fact, it's encouraged here on the two Dum Yinzers.
I was about to say it's very much encouraged.
Where are we at, Mike? It is about that time. Ty says, Big Ben says, thank you to the Browns for not picking me.
All right.
You know what? I see Ben kind of regularly anymore, Mike. I don't want to put too much information out there, but he's involved in things that are going on in the county here, and there's been multiple Ben sightings as of late, just roaming around town as that stuff is going on. Again, I don't want to put too much information out there because I don't know. Yeah. But Big Ben has been very active lately. People have been seeing him all around here. With all that. So Vegas says this, does Ben still have the most wins in the Browns? You know what? Baker actually passed that.
Yeah.
And they got rid of Baker. Big Ben had more wins as a quarterback than any other quarterback at Brown Stadium. When it was finally broke, it was broke by Baker Mayfield. And the very next year, they get rid of Baker Mayfield.
Now that's a Browns move if I've ever heard one.
And Ty is saying happy birthday to the GOAT. There it is. Today is Ben's 44th birthday, guys. Big Ben, 44 years old today. Happy birthday, dude. My couple things before we do start getting ready to wrap things up for today. I do want to say, what do I want to say? I want to say this. I want to say, guys, as we are in this offseason, there's still a lot of football going on. There's still, again, 1 week from today, tampering period, 12 o'clock. Next Monday, teams and players are going to be allowed to communicate and contact one another about free agency type moves. And then Wednesday, free agency is 4 o'clock is when it starts. This is when you're going to start. You're going to see the madness going on in faces and players and people moving everywhere around the league. It's one of the funnest times in the year, in my opinion. Mike, and also the draft next year. With all this going on, you got to be working up a little bit of a thirst. And if you are working up yourself in pro days as well, exactly, Somber. And if you're working up the thirst, you might want to stop by and grab yourself some Duquesne Pilsner, Mike. For all these events, now available in Giant Eagle in 12 and 6 packs, and then also the in cases anywhere that you could buy cases. Duquesne Pilsner goes out of their way to help promote us in many ways, and we can't thank them enough. So we figured we just put it out there, guys. Go follow them maybe on social media if you don't like to drink, and if you do like to drink, go grab yourself Duquesne Pilsner, delicious beer. We have it on tap all the time here in the studio. Mike and I do. It's brewed right here in Pittsburgh, and it says on the can, Mike, grab a Duke.
Grab a Duke.
Also, go check us out on social media, guys. We're on Facebook. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter. Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Swing by, hit the follow button. Keep up with the two Dum Yinzers up to on a day-to-day basis. And if you have not had the chance yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe, or even leave a comment. It all helps in the algorithm, guys. And we appreciate it all. Thank you so much, Mike. As far as today went, any end of day comments that you may have on anything that we talked about on today's show?
Again, man, this is a great show. The back and forth with everyone on the board is always fun, especially like when you disagree with someone on the board and you're bouncing back and forth with comments. It makes the day go by. It makes the day fun, and this is why we do it, man. We love the debate, the back and forth. It's a fun one today.
I think he says Sebastian Janikowski and Ron Gant today and Reggie Bush. Sebastian Janikowski was a beast, though. I remember the Raiders, there was nothing that they could have done to not take him in the first round. Sebastian Janikowski was the first round pick. They wanted him bad. Old southpaw, I guess you'd call it.
And then they took a punter, Shane Leckler, in like the second or the third or some shit like that in that same draft class.
They're still trying to rebound.
Total Raiders move, man. I love it.
They're still trying to rebound. And John Quinn says 12:01 on the phone with Jacksonville when he's talking about that next week. 12:01 on the phone with Jacksonville. Hey, might be. Somber says they're all on different dates. I'll put a link in. CG Tyrone. Ty says number 24 all day. Vegas says he was a beast at FSU when they had a great kicker. They won the national for sure. For sure. Somber says mad respect for special teams. LOL. And then also, okay, gotcha. Han Jung Quinn says this. My name is an acronym for my children's name. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Cool. I like that. That's awesome.
I also do want to say this. I do want to say thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always keep the show interesting, and you are the lifeblood of this show. I always say it, and I always mean it. You guys are the best. And everybody that's watching at home or at work or in the car or the gym, wherever you may be, or just listening, thank you too, guys. You guys rock our world. We only hope that we could do it. Just a fraction back to you is what you give to us, guys. Thank you so much. You roll. Let me grab a couple more of these messages, Mike, and we are going to start getting ready to wrap things up for this Monday installment of the show. Of course, we will be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. We are here 5 days a week, and this offseason, Mike, is going to be a blast. We've done about 4 or 5 of these off seasons so far since we've started the show. This one I'm looking forward to. Again, so much stuff going on. The draft coming right here to Pittsburgh. 12 draft picks for the Steelers. Free agencies next week. So much stuff, guys. Somber, peace, gents. We appreciate that, sir. You as well. Tyrone, no, you were the GOAT, my friend, but thank you anyway. Vegas is Baker 19, number 1 Flacco, and Ben tied number 2 with 12 wins at the Browns Field. Oh, you know what? And Flacco got himself a better chance, though, because he came back. He played for them.
Yeah.
And then he went to another team that played there a couple of times. So, again, I think Ben's domination was more impressive, but you are 100% right, Vegas, on that. Tyrone, make my way. Hey, we appreciate that, sir. We're glad that we could do that for you. Make my work go by. Thank you, sir. Mike, anything else before we do wrap it up for today?
No, man. Great show, everyone, man. I had a blast, and man, you guys knocked it out of the park today.
Absolutely, guys. Again, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. It just feels like there was something right on the tip of my tongue, Mike. I was hoping that I was going to be able to remember it as you were talking. It didn't happen, and I'm sure I'll remember the second I go off the air, and then I'll overthink it for the next 24 hours, and then you know how things are. Ty says if Omar can open his eyes, get more cap space. Guys, thank you so much. That's what it was. Do go check out the website. Lots of stuff over there. Mike's put a lot of work in. And the 2 new additions to the crew, RB and Chop, also with their articles and top 5 picks at this point. Go check it out over on the website, www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. I think that's it, Mike. I'm going to come to you one more time. Speak now or forever hold your peace, my friend. All right. I want to thank you so much, everybody. We hope to see everybody back tomorrow. We'll be back at our regular time. I hope everybody has a great, safe Monday. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.